Good evening all. How are you all? Fine. Okay. So how many of you are writing mains this time? Mains. Okay. Fine. See, we already have the introduction, right? You know my name and all. So my name is Thorun Patel. So I will be taking this agriculture optional classes, right? So today we will be focusing on like what are the aspect I am going to cover today is first thing this paper 1 of 2022. This analysis will be provided, right? Analysis in the sense mainly 4 aspects. One is like subject wise how many marks is coming, how much marks, right? What is the trend in question 1 and 5? 1 and 5, because you know that question 1 and 5 is compulsory, so that's why question 1 and 5 trend. Next one is nature of question. Nature of question for individual subject. Next is learnings. What are the things, main things we can take from this year's paper, correct? So since today we are going to discuss about ecology, so I will be dealing with this paper 1 only. So once we will be doing this paper 2, that is the cell biology and all, so then I will be giving this paper 2 analysis for 2022. Okay, so this is one. After this, we are going to start with this keywords, right? While answer writing, so this is one of the biggest burden usually people face, that is describe, illustrate, etc. These sort of words I am going to say like how to tackle them, what is the meaning of it, and what are the components should be there in the answer, right? So this is what I am going to cover in this keywords. After that, ecology. So I hope you would have seen the timetable, right? Yes, the I-ARI timetable and workbook I had given. So in that, so I had given 8 questions, right? So today I will be covering 4 questions in detail, right? So this is the plan like I have to cover today, right? So before we start with the discussion and all, so let me say like few things. See, because if you have attended my GS classes, I want my classes to be interactive, right? And this is the session where we are going to discuss PYQs, right? Even though, let's say for example, you are starting for the first time, you are a beginner, then also you can participate in the class. Let's say exact content cannot be given in the class, I agree, but at least you can say what could be the structure, right? What is the understanding you have about the question, correct? So that is one. So third important thing is that, see, you have to participate, or else let's say for example, when I say that this is the question and write the answer, right? If time permits, or else let's say if you have the content, you can write the answer. If not, at least give me the structure. So this is what I have thought and this is what I am going to write. So if you say that, first thing, it will be like, let's say, if at all any mistake is there in your thinking process, that I can rectify. Second thing is that if at all something new you are saying, so that will be contributing to the class as well, and also like other aspirants can also learn from you, right? So these two are the important. And third important thing is that, see, when you start opening up in the classes, what will happen is that initial inhibitions or fears which you have in, especially in the communication, most of the people when they come to us for mentoring, they will be saying only one thing: sir, I can understand everything that are going in the classes, but while communicating it is not possible, correct? That is mainly because you will be fearful of conveying the things, right? And especially, let's say for example, especially at least during our time, how this agriculture program was there, UG is that most of the people are really from this agriculture background, and most of us had like modest of the like percentages. Maximum could be 80s and starting could be 60s. So this percentage people usually we have this inhibition, how to speak up to the people, etc. So that fear you will be losing in the classes. Clear? Yes. So just now I said, at least say yes, right? So this is the like starting phases. I can understand, but see, and another very important thing is that don't get overwhelmed with this process, because it is going to be intensive. Because see, I have taken so many research articles, I have done little bit extra work so that you can get benefit from that. So when I give the question, so try to write the structure, right? After that I am going to give the structure plus certain content, correct? So I am going to explain also, and I am also going to dictate few of the aspects. Clear? Yes, we are established, right? Right? Yes or no? Yes. So there is no one to judge you, right? So saying yes doesn't mean anything. And have that happiness faces on in the classes, because see, you are the only mirror I have here, right? So if you are feeling like troubled or else worried on your faces, so there is no incentive for me to progress, correct? So be happy and don't be sleeping in the classes, right? So that is it. So with this we are going to start with this thing, right? So first we will start with this, okay, 2022 question paper. I hope everybody would have seen this 2022 paper, right? Yes, yes, okay. What was your initial thoughts on this paper? How was the paper? Easy? No? Nothing? You felt nothing? What were the feelings? Yes, Anusha, right? Yeah, what were, okay. Okay, few questions were repeated and it was moderate level of difficulty, correct. Then, were there any like specific questions or specific subjects which created like fear in you? No one? Nothing? Nothing? Then it is good. Then it is good, then you can easily choose this option and you can get very good marks, right? So that if you don't have the fear, that is the first sign of success. Clear? Okay. So now what I will be doing is that, as I said in the like beginning part only, so I will be taking this questions like from which subject how many questions are coming, first thing, what is the quantity of marks, correct? So that is the second thing. Third thing is question 1 and 5, correct? And then nature analysis. So taking this individual subject and what sort of questions are coming, because there is like little bit change in the trend which is happening, just not the static questions are coming. So that I am going to emphasize, correct? And another part is that the syllabus which is there, if you have been thorough with the syllabus lines itself is coming as a question. So we are going to look at that aspect also, clear? So with this, we'll start with this first one, the question paper, correct? Okay. Okay. So this first thing what we'll be doing is, as I said, okay, we'll read the question, we'll determine to which subject and which part of the syllabus it is belonging, right? First exercise is that. So we'll start with the first question. So 1 and 5 is compulsory, that much you must be knowing. Okay, first one, that is what is geographical information system? Discuss its elements and prospects in agriculture. So to which part of the syllabus it is coming? Agronomy, Pakka? Recent trends in the, correct, but under which part? See, you have been acquainted with the syllabus, right? So that is one. Ecology, correct, first one. Yes or no, this comes under ecology, agriculture, ecology portion, correct? Yes, agreed, any debate? You may say, sir, it can come under like technology stabilization for rain-fed agriculture. It may, but mainly it is under ecology only. Clear? Second one, what is precision farming? What are the different aspects for resource conservation? Under which subject? Pakka, right? What is the syllabus line? We have agriculture, organic farming and precision agriculture itself is mentioned. Two exclusive words itself is mentioned in the syllabus, right? We can put under that, correct? Agronomy. Next, describe the methods of propagation of forest plants. Forestry, correct. Next one, discuss selection criteria of successful bioagent and bioherbicides. State at least 2 examples of biological control of weeds. Weed science, in broader aspect we can say agronomy, correct. How to enhance nitrogen use efficiency in transplanted rice. Under which part of the syllabus or else which subject it is coming? Soil science, Pakka, no debate, not in this thing, agronomy. Not in agronomy, sure. So this is what it happens, because if you are thorough with the syllabus, each individual word should be there in your brain, because this line itself is exclusively mentioned in soil science, yes or no, nitrogen use efficiency and ways and means of losses, and also like nitrogen use efficiency in submerged condition of rice, correct, remember. So this comes under soil science, correct. Next one, second question, what are the various factors responsible for soil pollution? How organic and natural farming can play a role in minimizing soil pollution? Again, to which part of the syllabus can we put this? Soil science, then environment and ecology, correct? So all of you are correct, because see, that is the like changing trend which is happening in the paper, right? So as I said, it is merging. So they are merging 2 subjects and they are asking as one question, correct? They are demanding interdisciplinary understanding, not just of one subject, clear? Now, we can put this under ecology, because if you have read the syllabus, so pollution is there, remember? Types of pollutions, there also you can say. In fact, if you want, you can also put under agronomy, because farming systems is there. Yes, farming system is also part of the syllabus. So organic farming and natural farming, it is type of farming system, there also you can put, correct? And also you can say in soil science, because problematic soil, polluted soil is also a type of problematic soil, yes or no? Yes, all the subjects can be said in one question, correct? Now, what is the significance of DSR and SRI? Describe package of practices for direct seeded rice. So this is agronomy, no debate at all, correct? This is agronomy, fine. Discuss various steps for long-term conservation of forest flora and fauna. So this comes under forestry, correct? And in fact, this exact syllabus line is there, correct? If you have seen, so this is the exact syllabus they have mentioned. Next, how soil acidity affects crop production. Elaborate remedial procedures for soil acidity. This is under soil science, correct? Okay. Up to here it is clear. Now basic idea we had, correct? Now, okay. Classify various natural resources. Discuss the steps for long-term conservation of natural resources. This comes under natural resources. It is part of which subject? Ecology, correct? Ecology, fine. Describe the importance of millets in Indian agriculture. Which part? Agronomy. Okay. Discuss various types of herbicide resistance in weeds with specific examples in Indian perspective. Discuss the management practices dealing with herbicide resistance in weeds. Weed science, correct? Else agronomy, right? Then why do we consider soil structure as an important soil property for crop production? How is soil structure changed by various factors? Soil science, correct? So basics of soil science, in fact. Describe various components of agroforestry and state the benefits of agroforestry. Forestry, correct. Then, okay, self-help groups and FPOs, farmer producer organizations. Extension or economics? Extension or economics? So this SHS, it is mentioned in extension or economics? Self-help groups, extension, right? This is in extension, AX, correct. And then FPOs, though it is not exclusively mentioned in syllabus, it can be considered under extension only, because what are FPOs? Farmer producer organizations. What are them? So basically they are like hybrid model. It is a hybrid between corporate and cooperative societies, right? So how they are going to organize is that basic principles of establishment, that is one person, one vote, everybody is the member of the organization. Those are cooperative societies principles, but same thing is also here. But when it comes to the working ethics, it is based on corporate. Are you getting? So that is one. So that's why basically we can put it under extension, correct? Next one, KCC, Kisan Credit Card and Soil Health Card. Again, where can we put this? Economics, right? See this part you can say as economics, where for example insurance, crop insurance, there also we can put, for example credit, there also we can put. Soil health card, here again we can say it as economics, extension, because soil health card is what basically a technology which is disseminated by KVKs to farmers, in other words lab to land. Are you getting? So this is like interrelated one, correct? Contour bunding and graded bunding, so where? Soil and water conservation, correct? Rainwater harvesting and watershed management. Soil and water conservation, correct? Cooperative societies and NGOs. Again it is a mix, because if you observe the syllabus closely, this is mentioned under economics, correct? And this is under extension. Up to here it is clear, right? See, when we say like you have to do this PYQ analysis, so this is the beginning step we will be referring to. Are you getting? Because that is like a generic term. When you meet any person or else like any faculty for that matter, we are going to say this is the first step, correct? So this is the basic activity. What are the target groups in agriculture extension? What roles KVK can play in reaching out to such target groups? Extension, correct? Right. Narrate various components of contingent crop planning in dryland agriculture. Agronomy plus soil water conservation, correct? because if we take this dryland agriculture as a one and also rainfed agriculture, we can put it under soil water conservation, right? Even if you are going to put it in the thing, agronomy, it is not going to do any problem, correct? So that is one. Enlist the problem of agriculture marketing and also describe role of market intelligence in addressing these problems. Economics, yes, or extension? Economics, right? Right. Discuss the micro irrigation systems, their advantages in agriculture. Where? Soil water conservation, yes or no? Micro irrigation, so drip and sprinkler, that is the word they have mentioned in the syllabus, right? Describe the procedure for making successful farm plan. What are the characteristics of good farm plan? This is in economics. PRA, participatory rural appraisal, so this is under extension, correct, good. Discuss various parameters of soil, parameters of quality of water, irrigation water, right, irrigation scheduling for pulses cultivation in arid and semi-arid region. So this soil water conservation plus agronomy we can say, because for this basically you should be having idea, correct? So it will be demanding your agronomy knowledge also. Describe the relevance of integrated nutrient management in sustainable agriculture. Describe various types of biofertilizers. This is soil science, yes or no? Because integrated nutrient management, this is the main part in soil science, yes or no? Next one is describe the importance of crop insurance for small and marginal farmers in India. Write the role of insurance companies for crop insurance. Under economics, correct. Now, see, this is the first step in identifying like pattern, how the questions are coming, etc. Now, what we can do is that, let's see, like, for example, if we have the printout, then we can quantify it, right? Wait. Okay. Okay. Let's say ecology, how many marks it is coming? Let me use this. If you have quantified, if not also, don't worry. From ecology, how much marks is there in paper, in this 2022 question paper? Any idea? No? It is 50 marks, right? It is 50 marks. Agronomy plus weed science, if you combine, it is coming to 90. Forestry, again, it is coming to 30. Soil and nutrient management, it is 90, and soil water conservation 20. Together it is 110. Agriculture economics 90. Extension 40. See, here it is 90 because those which were like interlinked. So I have taken under economics only. So that's why that is much more marks. Now, considering this, so naturally speaking, which is the like most important subject if you want to prepare for by yourself, or else also if you want to like start reading, which is the importantly speaking, agronomy plus soil science is where maximum number of questions are coming. Are you getting? Yes. Now we got to know about like marks, it is coming under this. Now under another important situation, as I said in the beginning, it is about in question 1 and 5, correct? Because question 1 and 5 is also very important. Because at times what will happen, they will put certain questions which will be tricky, but it is compulsory. So you will be facing difficulty there, right? So let's have a look at that. Okay, so this is question number 1, correct? So we had this one, ecology, correct? Yes. Where is it? Ecology. Right, precision agriculture, that is agronomy. Then methods of forest, okay, agronomy. Then soil science, correct? So if you observe here, so 2 questions it is coming from agronomy, correct? And also if you had watched this orientation video for this program, there also I had taken this, if you remember. So every year at least 2 questions, and in best case scenario it will be 3 questions. It is coming from agronomy in question 1 and 5. Are you getting? So this is one. Ecology, so at least 1 question, right? It is not just in this question paper. If we take any question paper, any year question paper, at least 1 question will be there from ecology, 100% sure, right? So 2 questions from agronomy, 1 question from ecology, 3 questions already known to you, correct? And if you have done this PYQ analysis and if you have prepared even like more than average, believe me, that is enough, because you can already anticipate what are the type of questions it is going to come, correct? This is one. Next, forest. Again, if you take any year question paper, at least 1 question is coming, right? So this is the spot where they will be varying. Either it could be soil science, either it could be some other subject, right? So 4 is always, usually this is what it is going to come. 2 from agronomy, 1 from ecology, 1 from forestry. So third one or else 5th one, it could be soil science or else it could be some other subject. But the top 4, it is usually, this is how the pattern is, it is going to stick. Clear? Up to here it is clear. Now let's see this 5th question. Okay, 5th question. See, 5th question usually it will come like this, because in section 2, if you remember, the major syllabus which is there is, what is the section B syllabus? Extension, economics, correct? So these are the major syllabus which is there, right? Soil water conservation. Now, so speaking of which, again this is either extension or else economics, correct? Same, extension or economics, then soil water conservation, again extension or economics. And again, so this is the trend it is going to stick, right? So most of the questions it will be from extension and economics plus soil water conservation. So just go back to any year question paper, what I am saying is really true, right? You can verify it also. So this is what it is going to be there. Up to here it is clear. So question 1 and 5, you got to know? No. Another important part, like you have syllabus with you, everyone, right? So just open the syllabus so that we can have this understanding how many questions are actually coming from just the syllabus line itself, right? So let's say this one, geographic information. So if you observe, like I hope like you have this syllabus which I had given, right? Even if not, if at all it is in the notification syllabus also, we can find this advanced tools for ecosystem analysis, that is remote sensing and geographic information system. So this word geographic information system, definitely it is going to be there. See, what I will be doing now is that, see, I will be taking this ecology first, correct? Ecology as a syllabus I am going to take, and I am going to say like trends which is coming here, clear? And also like syllabus, how much it is getting repeated there, right? First one is GIS, correct? This word could be there. So what they will do is that either they will ask, first thing is concept, correct? Second, utility, correct? Utility. So third one, limitations, correct? Fourth, have you observed what are the other things? Utility in specific things. Let's say for example, forest conservation, correct? And let's say for example, weather forecasting, yes, are you getting, are you enjoying? That's for, no? Say yes or no, right? So are you getting? So this is what, like GIS could be one thing, but this is the nature they are going to ask, right? Here also if you can observe, it is elements and prospects. Are you getting? What are the main elements which is present in this technology as such, and what are the prospects? Prospects means, what is the meaning of prospects? Future or else application, or else let's say for example, having this technology in India, what are the potential benefits we can derive from that, right? So that in a way we can say as prospects. Are you getting? See, if you get now, if you are observing now, so GIS is one thing, but if you got this sort of idea, like how the nature or else how they are asking the question, won't that be like reducing your burden? Because when I say like GIS and RS, and it is also repeating every year, almost every year, right? So what you will be thinking is that what is the content I should be needing? So where is the starting point, where is the ending part? That itself will be a burden, right? So if you have done this, then it will be reducing the burden. Yes, up to here it is clear, and also it is mentioned in the syllabus itself, correct? Next one. Okay, this thing, precision agriculture, sorry, precision farming. And again, if you go to this agronomy syllabus, so after this concepts of various cropping and farming systems, if you observe, it is mentioned as organic farming and precision agriculture. So exactly the same thing has been asked here. Are you getting? And see, for example, why do we need this precision agriculture? What is the main utility of precision agriculture as such? Sorry, input cost, then? Correct, very good. So that is to say, when we are going for precision, we are precisely putting something. One is obviously, as you said, like input cost will be reduced, but mainly it is in the context of natural resource conservation. Yes or no? If at all it is happening, then what should be the basic idea you should be having? How it is going to happen? Correct? Precision agriculture, it's linked to this natural resource conservation. How? This how is like core part of this concept. If you have understood that, like if you have understood this precision agriculture, are you getting? And if you observe the question, different aspects for resource conservation, are you getting? So this question we can say it is mainly based on conceptual understanding. Are you getting? Yes, yes. So same thing can also be asked for GIS also. Are you getting? How GIS is going to be helpful in resource conservation, right? So here only I have to deduct the things. Right? This year they might have asked like GIS and elements and prospects. Next year they may ask like remote sensing plus its components. Are you getting? Or else how it is going to be helpful in resource conservation. Clear? Up to here it is clear, right? Next. Okay, methods of forest propagation. Again, if you go back to the syllabus, same thing is mentioned here also. Yes. If you read, it is like propagation of forest plants. Correct? So that is the heading they have mentioned, and same thing has been asked. What are the various methods for propagation of forest plants? In other words, why I am trying to do this exercise is that because you have to realize that the syllabus itself is very, very important here. If you have by-hearted the syllabus, every word is there in your brain, believe me, like most of the preparation is done, because you will be reducing your burden. How much to read, where to read, all those things will be sorted out. Clear? The syllabus itself is mentioned here, right? Next one, bioagent, bioherbicides, at least, okay. So bioagent, again if you go to this, where is that? Weed science. So dissemination, after that if you read cultural, biological and chemical methods of weed control, correct? So this comes under biological method of weed control. Right? There is actually one of the, I can say, main thread is there between all these things that I am going to say in the end. That is, what is the connection between this sort of like biological methods, or else let's say GIS, or else resource conservation. There is one important aspect, so that I am going to explain later. So that will be again reducing your burden in preparation. Clear? Again, this is mentioned in the syllabus. They have asked it. Nitrogen use efficiency in transplanted rice. Again, if you go to this soil science, so there they have mentioned like this. Where is it? Nitrogen use efficiency in submerged soils. Correct? So same thing only they are asking here. Correct? Again, it is about the syllabus itself. Right? Okay, soil pollution. Here see. So that's why if you take like 10 questions, it could be 8 questions which is as simple as static, but 2 questions definitely it would be on analysis. 2 questions will be on interlinkages. Are you getting? So here, as I said, it is interlinkage between agronomy also plus ecology also. Are you getting? Because pollution part is there in the ecology. If you read the syllabus again, in ecology we have this pollution, and in agronomy we have this organic and natural farming. Are you getting? So don't worry, when you are going to discuss about agronomy and all, you are going to discuss these questions. But this is the understanding you should be having. Up to here it is clear, right? Okay, next one, DSR. See, there also this analogy is there. As I said, the main thread, it will be coming to this, I will be explaining. But this is, I can say, POP question, package of practice, correct? Yes. And if you like keep on observing every year question paper, at least one question will be coming on POP. But the nature is different. Are you getting? The nature is different, that I am going to explain it later. Clear? The nature of POP, it is varying, but one question for sure it is going to come from POP. Right. Next one, long-term conservation of flora and fauna. And again, if you go to this forest syllabus, same thing is mentioned there. Conservation of forest flora and fauna, if you can see. So this is the classical example where like syllabus itself is becoming the question. Clear? Next one, soil acidity. So if you go to this soil, so there also this problematic soil is there, and this problematic soil is one of the very important thing, because every year at least one question is coming from problematic soils. It could be like waterlogged soils, it could be like saline soils, acid soils, or alkaline soils, anything, but one question you can anticipate from this problematic soils. Up to here it is clear, right? Okay. Next one, natural resources, steps for long-term conservation. Again, same thing is mentioned if you go to ecology syllabus. So same thing is mentioned there. Natural resources, their sustainable management and conservation, correct? So there it is going to come. Next one is millets. See, 2023 is International Year of Millet. So in fact, I had predicted this question in the test series also, and it has come, and it is going to come this year also. But the aspect could be something different. Are you getting? But millets is going to be very important both in GS and also in optional. Clear? So that is one. And again, if you want, you can put it under POP, right? Or else like general understanding. Like for example, let's say cereals, pulses, oilseeds, commercial crop, fiber crop. If you take this classification, first main thing what should be known to you is that what is the potential of it? That category of crops, what is the potential of it? What are the challenges? What are the solutions? These three things minimum you should be knowing about each classification, not just in agronomy, but also in horticulture, right? Pomology, olericulture, floriculture. So they are also same thing. What is the potential? What are the challenges? And what should be the solutions? These basic things you should be knowing. Okay, herbicide resistance, and again, so this is also mentioned in weed thing. Like okay, not exclusively mentioned, but main thing is like herbicide. So at least like herbicide resistance is one, herbicide selectivity. So at least alternative years, one question it is going to be from this residue management, resistance or selectivity. So these three aspects of herbicide, it is going to be very important. Clear? Next one, soil structure. See, most of the people actually they neglect about this basics, especially when you have this soil science basic course in your UG. So there you would have studied this bulk density, porosity, right? All those basic properties. There you should be very strong, because see the number of marks is 20. Let's say because you know like very little about the soil structure in the beginning. So what you will be doing is that though this two questions, components of agroforestry or else of, let's say, where is this A? This one, herbicide resistance. Even if you know these two questions very well, because this is a 20 marks and you don't know that much about soil structure, what you will be doing? You will be skipping this question. But essentially that is the easiest question it can be there. Are you getting? And again I am telling you, fundamentals are important. If you are really good at the fundamentals, any question you can tackle, right? So this is the proof of that. Next one, self-help groups and FPOs. Of course, SHS is mentioned exclusively in the syllabus, but FPO, because it was in news, and if you are following this budget, economic survey, even agriculture survey or also agriculture census, there this topic was there, FPOs, right? And FPOs are very important in the context because of, one is contract farming. In contract farming, what is happening? It is usually contract between farmers plus MNCs, multinational companies. They are basically what? Corporate bodies. So their main motive will be like profit making. If at all it is a FPO, what will happen? Farmers, they themselves will be the owners of this, plus they will be entering into the contracts. So that will be a game changer for Indian agriculture. That's why this is in news, and FPO, you can anticipate a 50 marks question also. Are you getting? Like what is FPO? What are the components or else principles of it? What are the challenges and what could be the solutions? Definitely it is going to be a very, very important topic, right? Next one, KCC. KCC has been in news mainly after that prelims question, right? At least by that time you would have seen. Yes, you've been through the prelims, right? Yes, so that KCC question definitely it is going to be important. Next one is soil health card, and again if you take National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture, correct? Have you heard this term? Yes, it is under NAPCC, correct? National Action Plan on Climate Change, and this was under which this thing 5-year plan? It is under 12th 5-year plan. Very good, right? So here there were 8 missions, correct? One of them is, and again this NAPCC we are going to discuss in brief today. So this 8 missions, one of them was NMSA, and NMSA had this one component, sub-mission, that was on National Mission on Soil Health. Under the soil health we have this soil health card scheme. Are you getting? Right? So that is very important. Next one is contour bunding and graded bunding. See, in soil water conservation, what is the main thing? It is about erosion. Erosion and runoff losses. And runoff loss, actually it is mentioned in the syllabus, correct? There you can put this engineering methods to conserve erosion or else conserve this runoff and to preserve the soil, correct? So that is one. Rainwater harvesting, again this is exclusively mentioned, plus these two terms have been exclusively mentioned in the syllabus. So same thing is asked here, right? And in fact the funny thing is that this watershed management itself could be a 20 marks question. And see what they have done is that essentially they have reduced this to 5 marks. Yes, this is the challenge usually like candidate faces, because you would have prepared for 20 marks, but now you have to write only for 5 marks. Now the biggest challenge is that see, I often told this saying, that is knowledge is burden, because when you know much about single topic, you will be compelled to write more and more on that. Right? If you are not writing, you will not be satisfied. So this is the challenge for them. Correct? So this is one. Next one, cooperative societies and NGOs. Again, this is also mentioned in the syllabus. So same thing has been asked here. In other words, that's for how many questions have come directly from the syllabus lines? Many, lot many. Correct? Only few questions have this interlinkages, but most of the questions are from syllabus only. In other words, when you are saying, coming to me and you are saying, sir, syllabus is too vast, can we complete in 2 or 3 months? If you have this idea, believe me, you can go into complete. If not, again, it will be taking too much time. Are you getting? Yes? Now, are you feeling that at least like syllabus is approachable? Yes? Right. So target groups, again, this is exclusively mentioned in the syllabus only. If you read the extension syllabus, so this is again in the syllabus only, right? Target groups and a role of KVK. In fact, like KVK, the syllabus has mentioned about mandates, yes or no? Mandates plus, what is the other thing asked about KVKs in the syllabus? Role in dissemination of technology. Dissemination of technology. In other words, lab to land. This is going to be very important because KVK conception itself was for lab to land. Can anyone say when was this KVK established for the first time and where? Pondicherry, year? 1961. It was in 1961 in Pondicherry, right? And it was on the pilot scale. Pilot basis means like on trial and error, right? So it was established and mainly for dissemination of the technology itself, right? And for dissemination of technology, again we have another extension institution, that is ATMA, Atma. Have you heard? Agriculture Technology Management Agency, right? So when we are speaking about KVK, you have to list like other extension agencies which are present. Are you getting? Right? Okay. So these were the next, contingent crop planning. So this is also important part of the syllabus, though exclusively not mentioned, but that is very important part of the syllabus, right? And in dry land agriculture they have asked, but it could be for, let's say, rainfed agriculture also, and let's say for example delayed sowing, or else let's say for example delayed monsoon, or example the forecast of this heavy downpour. They are going to give this sort of conditions, and you are trying to write answers, right, at least some point of time. So what is the important knowledge we should be having about a crop? It is critical stages of growth, yes or no? If I know the critical stages of growth, I can manage whatever the condition it is there, correct? Accordingly, I can decide like agronomic practices or it's like hybrids, etc. All those things can be decided. Main thing is critical stages of growth. So that's why for contingent crop planning, so this is the important thing you should be knowing. Clear? Okay, up to here it is clear. Next one, agriculture marketing. So this is like, see, agriculture marketing plus market intelligence. Believe me, alternate years, at least one question, definitely it is going to be there, right? Pakka one question from agriculture marketing and marketing intelligence. So what are the aspects you should be knowing about this for agriculture marketing? Right? So this is the exercise you should be doing. See, first thing is status. Status of, see, this applies both for agriculture marketing and marketing intelligence. Status of agriculture marketing. Status means here, what is the main thing? Institutional setup. Institutional setup. What are the different institutional setup we have for agriculture marketing? So next one, challenges, correct? Next, solutions. Fourth, agriculture marketing or else marketing intelligence related to small and marginal farmers. This is one. Second one is doubling farmers' income, right? In this aspect, definitely you can anticipate the question. Are you getting? Yes. Next one is micro irrigation system. Definitely when they have mentioned drip and sprinkler, you can anticipate a question on micro irrigation for sure, right? Next one is farm plan. See here also, farm management, farm budgeting. These two definitely at least alternate years one question is there for sure. Farm management and farm budgeting. So associated parts like what is farm management, what are the components, what are the tools, right? Challenges, solutions. Same thing for farm budgeting. Types of farm budgeting, challenges, solutions. What are the characteristics of characteristics of good farm budgeting? All those things should be known to you. Next one is PRA. So this actually I had anticipated. So this actually you can understand in some other way. Let's say for example PRA, it is like age-old method, yes or no? Very old method. Have you done this PRA? Definitely in your Rave program you would have done, yes or no? So that this thing, diagrams, making out of Rangoli, etc. Have you done, right? So usually like apart from you practicing that, you would have never seen like farmers or else like any other people doing that, correct? Now the challenge or else like an anticipated question which I had predicted is that, see what is the role of, you can also try to answer this, not now of course, role of PRA in the era of satellite mapping. See basically in PRA what are we doing? So where is this village tank, where is this rainfed agriculture, where is this dryland agriculture? That is the exact depiction we are going to do that, right? For that we have the satellite mapping only. Then what is the relevance of PRA then? Are you getting? So this sort of thinking should be there. Not just reading the syllabus, but questioning that syllabus, why that is important, what are the associated parts, that will give you much more clarity on the subject. Clear? Yes? Right. Next one is various parameters on quality irrigation. Again, this is like one of the very repeated theme and exclusively mentioned in the syllabus itself. Are you getting? So that's why this is very, very important. But the nature of question, that is, it is related to this pulses, that too in arid and semi-arid. Right? So when this sort of question comes, again as I said, it is mainly about critical stages of crop growth. If you remember that, and it is about like quality irrigation, so obviously you can say during like reproduction, flowering, what should be the good quality parameters? During germination, what should be the good quality parameters? If at all it is bad, what will happen? If at all it is good, what will happen? Are you getting? So in this way you have to think. Clear? Next one is integrated nutrient management. If you take like nutrient management or else let's say increasing this nutrient use efficiency also, so this integrated nutrient management it is going to be very important. But again if you observe, it is about sustainable agriculture. So sustainable agriculture again you can say as one of the type of farming system, correct? What is the main aspect in sustainability of anything? It is not overusing anything. There should be rationality behind using the resources, correct? So if you are doing that, then obviously you are conserving here the nutrients, correct? So that's why when you are thinking about like this thing INM, IPM, IDM, so the aspect of sustainability should be running in your brain, plus IFS also, integrated farming system. So it is also about sustainability only. Are you getting? When something is integrated, obviously it can be related to sustainability, right? This sort of like ideologies or let's say network should develop in your brain. Clear? So though it looks like just 14 subjects which is there mentioned in the syllabus, if you establish these interlinkages and a network of this pattern establishes in your brain, believe me, you are going to enjoy the syllabus. If not, it will be a burden for you to read again and again. Are you getting? So that is one. Describe the importance of crop insurance, and again see, as I said, this crop insurance thing, it is mentioned exclusively in the syllabus, but again it could be crop insurance or else let's say for example credit availability. Always the interlinkages could be for, one is small and marginal farmers, second one is poverty development or else poverty eradication, third doubling farmers income, correct? So these are the like interlinkages they can definitely establish for credit or else crop insurance. See, when you see the topic, this sort of like let's say index or else like sub-themes should be coming naturally to you. And if at all it is coming, definitely that will be reflected in your answers. Today I am going to prove how that is going to work. Clear? Up to here it is clear? Yes, everyone? Yes? Okay. Now as I said, like there is one important nature or else let's say theme, thread, common thread between all the questions. So one very, very important thing, it is true in this GS also and also in optional, that is conservation. It could be on water, the question, for example, in this paper only, can you say like what are the water conservation questions was there? Can you say? So just now we discussed, right? Come on, let me tell me what are the questions? Watershed management, very good. Watershed management, then sorry, soil salinity. In a way you can say, but apart from that, rainwater harvesting. Yes, was the question there or not? It was there, right? Rainwater harvesting, then bunding, graded bunding, correct? Yes. Then what are the other methods, or else what are the other questions on the water conservation? SRI method, very good. SRI. Are you getting? Just on one thing, can you see the like relation? Why that is important? Are you getting? If you go back to GS, especially in paper 3, do this analysis, definitely you are going to find the pattern. Right? Conservation is one. Like water it is done. Next one is natural resources. So there were so many questions, if you can remember, right? Natural resources, correct? For example, forest resources, like flora and fauna management, correct? Long-term steps was asked, remember, right? For example, here also you can say this thing, contingent crop planning, right? Irrigation water parameters, yes. So conservation is the one of the main thing we can observe. So definitely when the like a practice or else like a method or else anything which is focusing mainly on conservation of something, so that is going to be very, very important for your examination, not just in optional but also in GS. Up to here you got the idea? Yes, everyone? And are you enjoying this? Yes or no? Say something. And it should be loud enough to okay, it should be loud enough also, right? So this is the like syllabus and also like the questions which appeared in 2022. Up to here it is clear, everyone, right? Now another important part, as I mentioned earlier, it is about what is the other thing I told you we will be doing. What is the other thing? Very good. See, you have to be present in the class, not just physically but also mentally. It is about keywords. Yes. Have you heard this term called as enigma? No? Enigma? No. How many of you not heard? It's quite an obvious word in English. What is the meaning of enigma? No. How many of you know this world wars? When was the first world war? 1914 to 18. Second world war? 1940. Started from 39 to 45, correct? So now during that, why I ask this question is that, so you know that Germany was like progressing towards this, let's say technological advancements, correct? So one of that is called as Enigma mission. Right? What is this Enigma mission? For example, today you would have seen like in movies, they will press some buttons and it will be like showing as like seismic graph. But essentially that is like encrypted messages. Have you heard? For encrypted message transmission, so the mission invented was Enigma, correct? It was a German invention. The thing is that Enigma mission, actually it was like the code or as the pattern, it was unbreakable. Nobody was able to identify because it was very simple. Let's say today I have like basically 26 alphabets are there, correct? I'm going to code like some number or something for that alphabet, correct? But the thing is like every 24 hours, so that code it is going to be changed. Let's say if I decode that on today, for the next day it is not going to be useful. Are you getting? So it was happening. So it was like let's say burden or else like unsolvable mystery for all the allied powers which were there. Are you getting? Main powers which were there, for them it was difficult. Now, who is the father of artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence. Come on guys, these are the common knowledge you should be having. See, and again why this knowledge is going to be useful or else important is that, see, the main mistake people usually make is that, and also the toppers talk, that video we are going to upload, and tomorrow also there is a toppers talk, do attend that. If you like listen to everyone, one thing is common, that is focus on GS plus optional equally. Are you getting? You will be focused too much on optional and you will be neglecting your GS, and when the marks comes, what will happen? Either it will be very less in SS or else ethics. GS 1, 2, 3 somehow everybody is going to balance, right? At least 80s, 90s definitely it is going to come. But the main thing is essay and ethics. Are you getting? So there the marks will be less and you won't be getting into the list just by 5 marks, 10 marks, 15 marks, and that can be like easily improved. But the problem is you are not focusing there. Are you getting? So who is the father of artificial intelligence? Have you heard this term or his name? Sorry, Alan Turing. No. So Alan Turing is the father of artificial intelligence. Why? Because he was the person who was successfully decoded this Enigma machine, right? So and he invented this machine which can decode that very easily. But the funny thing is, or like interesting thing is that never this, because he is like a British scientist, and never British actually openly told to the world that this was like decoded. Because if at all that was done, obviously Germans will develop something else. Are you getting? So that's why during this World War this was not exposed. After that everybody got to know this. And what is the intention, or else what is the purpose of explaining all these things? It is to explain what is the meaning of enigma. Enigma means it is an expression or else word which says that something which is unsolvable, mysterious. Are you getting? So this is the usually expression or else like reference people will be giving to us about this keywords. See how much I had to explain just because of enigma. Are you getting? So that's why increase your vocabulary. If you are increasing your vocabulary, then the word you are going to take about expression of something. So just here only for enigma, I could have taken like one sentence or so, something which is unbreakable, mysterious, etc., etc. But just that one word, it is satisfying the entire statement. Are you getting? That's why role of vocabulary is important, right? Now, so keywords, as I said, people will be very curious and also like clueless also, right? Now, see what I will be doing is that I will be taking certain keywords and I will be explaining in the context of optional first, right? First main thing is, like the keyword they are going to use is discuss, right? Most often it will be there. Now if at all the question is about, let's say, discuss somatic hybridization. Now what are the things you are going to write in that? Like forget about like content, just the things like what are the like structure you want to follow in that question. Definition, good, fine. A definition you are going to write, then procedure, fine, then okay, objectives, then sorry, methods, okay, then that's it. Okay, advantages, disadvantages. Okay, another basic question you should have asked me is that, sir, tell me, because this is like 10 marks or else 15 marks or else 20 marks. Basically, depending on the number of marks also you are going to decide what should be the pattern in the answer, right? So mainly discuss means it is debating everything. Debating everything. That is, as you said, starting from definition, objectives, types, everything should be mentioned in this. Discuss is basically like explaining in detail. Explaining in detail, plus after all those things you can conclude the thing. Conclude. In conclude, you can say, let's say, today I am going to give you one example how to integrate this current affairs with the like optional part, right? But mainly the conclusion could be like either, let's say, what could be happening in the beginning, taking that somatic hybridization itself as the like theme here. Let's say, what is the futuristic aspect of this somatic hybridization? If at all something is there, let's say, using the somatic hybridization, can we have this disease resistance, or can we have something new or like a hybrid itself? So that sort of like futuristic thing also can be discussed in the conclusion. Are you getting? Mainly it is like sort of like debating, and it has to be like backed by evidence. Like let's say for example, if you are saying like advantages, disadvantages, then let's say for example, if you are saying it is going to be like less time consuming, so then quantify it, comparing with others. Let's say for example, if you are taking mass selection, it may take this much time, but using this method it is going to be half of that, or it's like this much less is there. Are you getting? That justification or else evidence is very, very important part in the discussion. Are you getting? Yes, yes. So this is one, that is discussion or else discuss. Next one is describe. Okay, what is the main aspect when compared to like discussion and describe? What is the main difference? As what should be like more emphasized here? Description, describe, concept, or else let's say for example this how aspect, right? Describe GIS, describe remote sensing. Then what should be there? The concept, how it is going to work. So that should be the core of your argument. Are you getting? So how aspect or else like mainly the concept. that has to be explained in detail. Let's say for example it is a 10-mark question, so this description as the procedure, how the concept, that itself will hold half of the marks. Are you getting? So that's why this word describe means explaining the how aspect in very good way. Are you getting? So this is the very important one. And then another very important one, especially in describe format, and also it happened in the previous also, it is right order. Right order. Let's say for example, this is like most people make mistakes here, because when I ask, let's say the procedure, let's say this thing pedigree method. So what will happen? You have to say the starting point. After that, let's say the sowing has to be done, or else identification has to be done. Then we are going to identify this good traits, etc., etc. In that way only it has to proceed. Correct? Basically, it is a story way. Right? It has to be same in the concept explanation also. There should be an orderly presentation of concepts. So that is a very important one. That is orderly presentation. Because most of the times what happens is that people do write content well, but it will be in a haphazard way. Right? First some point it will be conveying like basic concept. Suddenly the second point it will be of the conclusion thing. Right? So that sort of like I can say like erraticness should not be there in the answers. Are you getting? It should be a smooth flowing river. Clear? So this is about describe. Next one is explain. Explain. So what is like, I see basically everywhere you have to explain the concept, that is true. But what is the differences between like these keywords that I am going to explain? Clear? So in explanation, the main part is simplicity. Simplicity. Let's say for example, if I asked about marker assisted selection. When I say about marker assisted selection, obviously you can like complicate and you can write it in very, let's say jargon way. Jargon is technical words. You can put so many of the technical words and you can express it. But the main problem is that it will not be understood by all the people, correct? Especially when it is coming to the explanation, it has to be very simplistic answer. Even if at all a layman is reading your answer, he should be able to understand that. In that way, in that lucid manner, you have to explain the concepts. Clear? Main thing is simplicity in the answers. Next one is clarity. Clarity of thought or its concept. Because see, MAS actually it is like very complicated one, right? You can write so many of the diagrams, you can write so many procedures. But if you are going to put that clarity, exactly what is this marker assisted selection? So these three key words meaning, if you explain that in the simplistic way, so that itself will be giving me hint that okay, know the concept. Are you getting? It is about convincing the evaluator that you know something, right? So this is the main thing, that is clarity of thought, correct? Right? Up to here it is clear, explanation, correct? And next one is elucidate. Elucidate. So in elucidate, actually it is like explanation. Whatever we discussed for explanation, it is explanation plus examples. So lot more emphasis should be on examples. See, elucidate is like sort of your let's say, have you read that book called as like, what is that? The Horse, Forest and the Mole? No, never heard? Okay, okay. Let me put it in a simpler way then. So you would have seen this nursery rhymes, correct? Nursery rhyme books. So there, rather than words, what will be more? Diagrams, images, correct? So that will be more, so that the child will be interested in learning something. So same thing. In elucidate, examples will be acting as that sort of interesting factor. And if you are missing out this example, then it is as good as like just simple representation of the textbook. Are you getting? So that should not happen. So this is about elucidate. Next one is examine. Examine. Right. So in examination, what is happening? In examination, what are the things we are going to judge? One is obviously knowledge, then your aptitude, correct? Whether you will be able to like judge the question properly and write the answer in the limited time and space, correct? These are the things we are going to judge, right? So to prove that, you have to be very smart enough to like give every aspect in a limited way, right? So in examine, what has to be done is that The explanation should be there, but here the main emphasis on facts or data, right? See, for example, let's say India is facing huge water crisis, and agriculture is one of the culprit in this water crisis. Examine the statement. So here what has to done? Yes, it is true, but for that you have to justify, okay, what is the per capita availability of water? According to so many reports, what is the status of India in respect of water situation? What is the available natural resources of water in India? Whether it is good or bad, what is the status of that? Agriculture census, irrigation census, correct? All this data should be there, right? Using that you can explain the concept, or else you can examine that statement. Are you getting? So examine is basically in the light of facts and data. Clear? Next one we can say is elaborate. So elaborate, again, it is like very simple thing. It is like analyzing in different dimensions. Not just in one way, like you can think of multiple dimensions, multiple aspects, and you can explain the concept. So that is like elaborating. Right, here the main thing is that you need not give this criticism. So criticism is not sort of mandate here. If time and space is permitting, you can go for it in the like back end, right? And another very important aspect, let's make me clear this. See, let's say for example, this examine, describe, anything is there. So basically, like let's say this ratio you can follow, like 75, 25 or else 85, 50. That is 75 or else 85% of your answer should be based on this keyword. That is describing, explaining, elucidating, whatever the demand is there. In large 15 or 25%, there the liberty is there for you. If you have very good justifications or if you have very good critical arguments for that, that can be brought in the back end, 15% or else 25%. So in the beginning phases, what I would suggest is that don't try to like experiment this in the beginning phases. But if you are writing mains, obviously you can do this, right? But in the beginning phases, don't do this because you won't have that, let's say, critical analytical ability. Because you will be like, most of the people will be good in like writing this core arguments, but when it comes to this analysis, they might be lacking. So if you are trying this 75, 85 aspect, so what will happen is that you may not feel that confident in answer writing. So in the beginning phases, don't do this, but again, this is the thing you have to keep in mind. Clear? Right? So this is elaborate. Next one is critically examine. So usually this sort of thing might not be there in this optional, but even if they give, obviously, you know this thing, right? Critical examiners, both positives and negatives plus facts. Facts are data. Are you getting? In positive and negative, when you are arguing something, you have to back by data or else fact. Are you getting? So these are the things like critically examine, elaborate and examine. Then another type of like word is there, that is analyze. Okay, analyze. Here see, for example, especially when the question is asking about analyze, usually there will be 2 or 3 parts of the question, right? So 2 or 3 subparts of the question will be there. So what you have to do is that take individual subpart and explain it adequately, right? Explain it adequately. Every part of the answer should be justified. Are you getting? So most of the times here what happens is that space management. Because in the beginning, of course, you will be thinking, well, starting the answer, okay, these 3 parts are there, I should be careful enough here. But in the flow, what will happen? You will explain one aspect more than other. So there the marks also will be average. Are you getting? So that's why when there are 2, 3 subparts, give equal justification for all the parts. Right? Next one is comment. See, in comment, main thing is opinion. Let's say, for example, the statement is saying like this: Indian agriculture is still following age-old methods or else traditional methods, which is resource intensive. So after that, comment. So in comment, Of course, like statement is saying something. You may agree with that, you may not agree with that. Are you getting? So you can like justify the statement for like, let's say 25-30% of the answer. After that, you can give your opinion saying that though this appears to be true in certain aspects, but entirely it might not be true. In that way, you can give your argument or else like opinion. Then you can justify that. Are you getting? You have to justify it again and again. So this is about comment. Clear? Next one is, okay, this is important, especially in our optional. Compare or else like differentiate. Right? Most of the times the problem is we know that how we have to write, but let's say when that question was there, if you remember, that is one is called as catch crop and trap crop. Right? You would have seen this question. Yes. But most of us will have like maximum of how many differences? 5. And if we drag, it may be like 6 or 7. That is the most we can have. And actually speaking, technically there might be like 4 to 5 differences. Rest of the things is just dragging the same thing, right? Writing the same thing in different language. But in this context, let's say for example, if at all it is for 10 marks, even 10 marks itself is difficult. And if at all they are pushing for 15 marks, again it will be difficult. Right? Here what you have to do is that, of course, give this core argument, like what are the main differences which is there. After that, what you can do is that you can explain this catch crop as a concept and this trap crop as a concept. Are you getting? Somewhere in the line you will be explaining the differences also, but at the same time you are going to establish the concept also. So this is not the ideal way, but the thing is like, of course, let's say if at all I am doing this PhD analysis or this PhD thesis on trap crop only, definitely I may have like 100 pages to write also. But essentially that is not demanded by the examination. It is saying about a little bit higher than UG and lesser than PG. Then answers will also be like that only. Are you getting? So that is to say, in other words, this sort of questions, it is not going to determine your rank, because it will be same for everyone. If at all it is difficult for you to write, definitely it will be difficult for others. But instead of just writing 4 or 5 points and leaving it there, if you go on explaining some other thing, let's say worst case scenario, even if he gives 0.5, it will be rounding up as 1. So you are going to get that 1 marks extra. Are you getting? So whatever you know, just represent it. Don't leave it as a blank. Are you getting? So this is about that comparison or else differentiation. And another important term which will be asked is define. Correct? The main problem in this definition is that, see, most of the people will write the definitions, but somewhere around the meaning could be okay, but the entire technicality will be missing in the answers. So what you have to do is that it should be like either institution based, let's say IPCC is there. If something related to climate change, etc. will ask, you can take this IPCC definition, right? ICAR has given so many definitions. For example, scientists like MS Swaminathan, so they have given the definitions. So this sort of organizations or else like personalities definition you can take and you can put it in definition. It is going to reduce the argument that the evaluator is going to make, right? That is one advantage. And main thing, let's say for example, there are certain keywords or else terminologies which is very, very important in definitions. Let's say when I ask about tillage, what is the important keyword we have to mention in tillage? What is the important keyword? Fine. So yeah. No, you were saying correct. You were saying something, right? No. That was correct only. Say. What were you saying? It is tilth. Yes. Remember? The problem is it will be there in your brain, but you will not use it in the answers. So that is the mistake. Because tilth is the condition of the soil, correct? Once you upload the soil, it should be in that tilth condition, where it is pulverized enough for you to establish the good seed bed. So this sort of like terminology, it should be there in the definition. If not, definitely we are going to deduct the marks. Are you getting? Yes. And last one is demonstrate. Demonstrate or else illustrate, you can say. For example, in this thing, what is it? Economics, we have this result demonstration, correct? Method demonstration, right? So what are we doing here in this demonstration? What are we doing? We are practically showing something, correct? So what are the exact things we are going to do in the theory? I mean, what are the exact things we are saying in the theory? It will be demonstrated practically, correct? So in the answers also, what should be done? When you are saying something, it has to be demonstrated with the examples, with the help of diagrams, flowchart, right? Then examples. Clear? Everyone? Yes? Yes or no? Right, up to here it is clear for everyone, right? Okay. So now we'll be starting with this ecology part, right? So the ecology part first. Okay. Okay, so ecology, have you been through the syllabus? Yes? Ecology, so on an average, how much marks is coming? So we have just seen. So what is the average marks it was coming? Okay, in 2022, how much marks was there? It was 50, correct? Remember? So it was 50. So, okay. So just let's read the syllabus so that I know like most of you would have not done. So let us do that in the class itself. So ecology and its relevance to the man, correct? This is one. And if you have like taken this printout of the like workbook I had given, so there the syllabus which I have mentioned of each and individual subject, it is according to the frequency of questions which is coming from each individual topic, right? In that context, here the maximum questions is coming from which part of the syllabus? It is one you can say is about this thing, advanced tools. Second one is natural resources. Sorry, natural resources, correct? Right. Okay. So if I want to, okay. So this is the first. Most questions have been repeated. Second, we can say this, correct? Then, what else is there? Yes, climatic change conventions, international and global, correct? So this is coming. After this, we can say about this thing, environmental pollution, fourth, and rest of the things it is afterwards, right? And then fifth one we can say is greenhouse effect, right? So these are the major ones, this and this and this. So it has come very scarcely, right? Here and there the questions have come. I'm not saying that it is not at all asked, but if you have taken this subject as the first one where you are going to make the notes, as where you are going to start revision, so the first one should be natural resources. Second, GIS and RS. In this way only I have arranged the syllabus for you in the workbook also. Are you getting? So accordingly you can prioritize your reading, correct? So this is the basic things we got to know. Now I will say you, I will let you know this trends. Okay, so from 2017, okay, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21 and 22. Okay, so in 2017 the marks which came from this ecology was 30, and 2018 it was 40, 15, sorry 2019 it was 50, 2020 30, 21 60, and 22 50, right? So on an average, what is the marks it is coming from this subject? Somewhere around we can safely say it is for 40 marks. Yes, somewhere we can say definitely this much is coming from this syllabus, correct? Now question 1 and 5. Okay, so 2021 and 2022, just 2 years I'm going to say, and it is same for like every year also. Like in 2021, as I said also, like at least one question it is coming from question 1 and 5, remember? So same thing has been done in 2021 and 2022. So on an average at least one question is there in question number 1, correct? So what was the question in 2021, any idea? It was on sustainable management of natural resources, correct? So 2022 it was about GIS, correct? So GIS was the question, right? So this was in question 1 and question 5. Are you getting right? Yes. See, I am the one who is speaking, right? So I should be tired, but you are not even saying yes or no. Energy conservation. So resource conservation works in the paper, not on practical purpose, especially in the classes. At least you have to spend little amount of energy. Say yes or no. Right. Good. right? So this much it is clear. Now I am going to say this nature of questions, right? Nature of questions, how it is coming from this ecology part. In a way we are discussed in this 2022 paper itself, but again I am going to reiterate it. Nature. See, first one is like concept based one, right? Explain something or else describe something, right? So that could be like GS, it could be like pollution, it could be like, let's say, what is agroecology, explaining the concept itself, as what is the concept of productivity in ecology. So this sort of explanation, the concept part, either that will be one type of question, right? Concept part is one type of question, or else one part of question on ecology plus one part of other subject. Correct. Just now we have seen the examples. Yes or no? Soil pollution. It was related for, what was the relation of soil pollution? You are not participating actively then. What was the relation? Just now we discussed, right? No. Soil pollution was related to which part of the like subject? No. Soil pollution and that is soil pollution plus organic farming and natural farming. Now remembering how this thing could be solution for that. Yes. So in this way it has to happen in the mind only. See, if you are thinking that I will go to home and again I will be revising, why to put two-time effort? When you are in the class, actively learn the things, right? If at all it is in the subconscious mind, it is going into the examination hall. If not, like even if I give my own notes to you, it won't help your purpose. You're getting enter into your subconscious mind. So this sort of question, that is one part of the question, it will be on ecology, and another part it could be of other subject. So this is another trend where they like the nature of question is coming. And as I said, the main focus should be on conservation, conservation methods. Conservation of could be natural resources, could be like labor, anything, right? So conservation is another important thing. So, and as I said, at least one question it is coming in compulsory. So one question in compulsory part, definitely it is going to come. Clear? Up to here everybody? Yes? So can anyone say like what are the things we just learned thus far? What are the things we learned? Priority areas, very good. Then nature of questions, very good. Then number of questions it is coming, each individual subject's importance, correct? The role of syllabus, correct? The 2022 paper we analyzed, and also we got to know like which part of the syllabus is important, the keywords, what is the meaning of keywords, how the answer should be modulated according to the keywords, right? And also we started with this ecology where we got to know about the type of questions it is coming, the quantity of marks it is coming, and the question 1 and 5, how many questions are coming from that, right? So this much I think it is like basic enough for you to understand anything I am going to say from here onwards. Clear? I hope like you have this like workbook with you, right, that we have discussed. Yes, everybody is having, right? No? So at least from next class you bring this workbook, because see, and another exercise, if time permits and even if not time permits, make yourself some time and do this activity. That is, whatever the workbook I have given, the questions are there basically, correct? Now there are two ways. One is like, let's say same question could be written in some A4 sheet, and after when you are going to discuss in the class, that can be incorporated in the space I have given, right? In other way is that what are the space I have given just after the question, try to write the answer itself before coming to the class, right? So that one time like the brainstorming would have been already done by you, right? What extra you can learn, what is that value addition, what is that writing skill I will be emphasizing, that will be learnt in the class, right? So double time you will be doing, so that like revision is also happening and also the recall, right? Yes, so at least from next class do that. Clear? Okay. Now, so we'll take these questions like if you remember, or else if we have at least a soft copy. So the first question is clear for you, right? So what is the first question? Explain the impact of climate change on natural resources. I am writing in short forms because I have already given the soft copy. And give means as ways for Sustainable management of natural resources, and this is for 15 marks. So 15 marks means how many pages will be there in the exam? 3 pages, right? Right. So we'll do one thing. See, I will give you like 2 minutes to at least like form this structure of the answer. Right? Form the structure of the answer. Then, if at all it is possible for you, you can write the answer also. Then after that, we are going to discuss about this concept as such, right? So once we are done this exercise, you are done this exercise, then I will be telling you the importance of this topic as such and how the nature of questions are coming. And I will explain this concept as such, like in a very brief manner, because this is very repetitive topic, correct? After that, what could be the ideal I cannot say, or else let's say what could be the approach or else best approach you can have for this answer. In that the constructive manner I am going to explain in the brief. After that, like the few important points that I feel like it will be adding value for your notes also and also for the answers that I am going to dictate. Right? It will be repeated for each question. Clear? Clear? Got to know how the class will proceed, right? Now take a 2 minutes and give me the structure and if possible answer. Online people also do the same thing. Last 30, last 30 seconds. Last 30 seconds. And if you are writing the answer, try to go for conclusion. And if not, at least think of the what should be the conclusion. I will explain. I will explain. Okay, time up. Time up. So everybody can focus now. Okay, so question is explain the impact of climate change on natural resources and give means or ways for sustainable management of natural resources. So what is the meaning of the question? What is the meaning? What is the question demand? Okay, so basically it is asking about climate change is happening, but this climate change, how it is impacting on natural resources. This is first part. So second part, it is about how to have this sustainable management of natural resources. So can anyone say, or else can anyone give your structure or else answer of this question? Okay, definition of climate change, fine. Report of climate change, impact on, okay, impact in general, okay, fine. Then impact of, okay, the main demand of the question, impact of climate change on natural resources, fine. Then means of sustainable management of natural resources, fine. Anything else other guys wants to add to this answer? Anyone? Need, okay. Where do you want to put that? Okay, before this year means, sorry, need. Okay, fine. Anything else? Challenges, sorry, who said? Okay, challenges for what? Okay, fine. This is where you can put it, right? After explaining that, there, okay. Then that's it. Yes, your name? Sharat, okay. Your name? Sorry? Shamim, okay, fine. So this is what we have thought of, right? Now, first what I will be doing is that even before going to the structure of answer as such, so I will be explaining this briefly about climate change, natural resources, and what is the sustainable management, right? Very briefly. Fine, see, we use this term, that is climate change, as a very buzzword, that is often we are going to see in the media, correct? But what exactly is the meaning of climate change? Long-term shift in weather phenomena or else patterns, fine, right? Then we have heard about this IPCC, right? What is IPCC? Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, correct? So according to them, it is how many years? 30 or else 100? 30 or 100? IPCC, at least 30 years. So at least more than 30 years average data when you are going to say take, and the weather pattern and also this climate, I mean the temperature, if at all it is increasing, then climate change is happening, correct? Is climate change good or bad? Is climate change good or bad? Okay. Bad, okay. What are the good aspects of climate change? Sorry? Mutation, okay, very good, fine. Then, sorry? Okay, any other thing like positives or else like advantage? Sorry? Okay, in a way, because this, let's say, see, that will be counterbalance, because if you are saying glaciers will be melting and land will be forming, at the same time, the dissolved or else, let's say, melted this water, it will be increasing. So some islands it will be flooded, so there will be balance only, right? Then, sorry, rainfall, fine. As let's say, for example, if at all climate change is not happening, the weather pattern, the seasons, it will be constant, right? If at all it is constant, different types of crop production, different types of races of humans, also of the biodiversity, it will be reduced. In a way, it is amplifying it. In a way, if you go back to Darwin, it is about natural selection. Yes or no? It is mainly happening because of climate change only. So progress, let's say period after period, after this climate change is happening, what will happen? A new dominant species will be emerging, right? It will be ruling for some time, and again climate change will happen, so that natural balance is happening. But why we are speaking climate change in the negative context always? Why? Correct. Yeah, what you are saying is correct. See, all those things is correct. That is like good things is happening, but the problem is that the pace we have accelerated. Anthropogenic sources or anthropogenic ways has accelerated the pace of this climate change happening. So that's why it is bad. Now, so coming back to our syllabus, see, it is like, for example, if you remember, this climate change has been a separate part, and sustainable management of resources, it is under separate part. So that is why I showed you the syllabus in the beginning itself. Now, as I said in the beginning also, they are going to interrelate the same subject syllabus also, or else from different subjects. So this is the example of same subject intertanglement of two concepts. Are they getting? One is climate change and one is natural resource management. In fact, same climate change has been asked for impact on Indian agriculture as such, entirety, as it could be as specifically on crop production. Correct. So now what you have to have basic idea is that, okay, climate change is one phenomena. So understand the concept of climate change. Then you have to apply it for every other aspects of the agriculture. Right. This is the learning we can learn from this. Then what is the meaning of natural resource? What is? Sorry. Which is naturally and freely available. Fine. Then can you give an example of natural resource? Soil, water, air, light, forest. All these things are natural resources. Correct. Now just by thinking like that, so what is the impact of climate change on all these natural resources? Soil degradation, land degradation, forest fires. Correct. Deforestation is what we are doing, but in the context of climate change, it is forest fires. Correct. So these are the aspects, at least it is coming to our mind because of current affairs, at least. Yes or no? So recently that bushfires of Australia, it was there. Correct. And Brazilian this thing forest fire, it was also happening. Correct. So in this context also, if you remember, then this topic is very much relevant. Are you getting? Now the main aspect is that whether we have to write in the form of like optional or else like GS. So in these topics, it is like, it is not even like optional, it is not even like GS, it is about concept. So if we do justice for this climate change and natural resource as a whole, then it is good enough, right? It doesn't matter whether you are writing in the context of GS or else of optional. Concept is concept, especially concept based questions, it is just doing justice for the concept, not on like GS or else on optional. Up to here it is clear. Next one is sustainable management. See, and another thing is that sustainable agriculture, sustainable let's say weed management, etc. Whatever the thing sustainable is there, again that is going to be very important. Are you getting? So sustainable management of natural resources. And again, because natural resource, there is so much let's say diversity or dynamism in natural resources. It is not just one entity. There are so many entities in that. In other words, so many people or so many different types of, let's say, living beings, it will be involved in this. So holistic management should be there. If at all we are going for just like, like let's say a straightforward approach, it will not be doing the justice. So that's why sustainable management, right? So all the stakeholders who are involved in this aspect of natural resources, that should be considered, and then we have to give the management aspect, right? So this is basic understanding of this question, and also like why this question is important. Clear? Now coming back to the answer, see, as you said, definition of this climate change, then report of this climate change, the impact of climate change, all those things are correct. So I will say another thing, let's say for example, if I start like this, let's say okay, so there is an institution called as National Informatics, right? Or else Government of India has this National Informatics, so that is called as NIC. So they have given this report or else estimation, that is more than 50% of the Indian forest which is present, it is going to change in its type, forest type, right? In other words, let's say for example, if at all it is like temperate forest, because of climate change, it is going towards this deciduous. Or else let's say for example, it is evergreen, it may change towards deciduous. So this is the pattern they have identified, because forest is also natural resource. Correct? If you are going to do this sort of like data or else like report finding in the beginning itself, will that not be putting the context for the question? Yes. So this is one way of like starting the answer. That is like let's say, as I said, more than 50% of forest, it is going to change in the forest type. Right, this is one. Second data or second type of introduction, let's say this IPCC, they have found out like this. Even if at all there is like 1 degree rise in this temperature, there will be 4 to 5 million tons reduction in wheat production. Are you getting? So even 1 degree rise in temperature will result in reduction of 4 to 5 million tons of wheat. Correct. Now crops, again it is also a natural resource only, plants basically, yes or no, right? So in this way, if you start the answer, the introduction part, won't that be like captivating the entire meaning of the question, right? The introduction actually how it should be is that it should captivate entire meaning of the question. See, it has to develop this sort of like, let's say, interest one. Second thing is that it should give like holistic image, not just of the like some scattered image. Are you getting? Right? So this could be your introduction, right? Up to here it is clear? Right. See, in fact, even before going to body, something called as transition can be given. Transition is such a phase, like let's say, if you have written, let's say climate change definition, or else let's say for example any fact, something you are defined in this introduction, after directly like instead of directly going to this body while explaining this impact of this climate change on natural resources, what you can do is that, see, nowhere we have went for definition in the introduction, so I have to compensate somehow because I have to show that I know the concepts also, correct? Now the best way is that either you can start with climate change definition because that will be monotonous and most of the people would have written. So what I could be doing better here, natural resource. Either you can start with the natural resource definition, or else let me put it like this. Basically, there are two types of natural resources we can have. That is renewable natural resources and non-renewable natural resources. If I put like this, renewable natural resources, because of the pace, increased pace of exploitation, there is less rejuvenation, and thus non-renewable resources, because it is exploited in indiscriminate ways, there is depletion of this non-renewable resources. Won't that be like again building the context? At the same time, you are showing your conceptual clarity that you know that basically there are two types of natural resources. Are you getting? So in that way you can build up, that is renewable natural resources and non-renewable natural resources and how it is depleting. Once you have done this, basically, like see, so 15 pages means, 15 marks means 3 pages. So hardly this will take like quarter of the page, right? But you have established most important concepts here, correct? And the opening itself, see, I have told this many times in this GS classes also, that is my philosophy of, or its understanding of this answer writing, it is like the movies. Because like the common example I always give is this Kantara movie, right? Most of you would have watched Kantara, right? Yes? Right, in that Kantara, like, what was the most appealing part for you? Nothing. Nothing. What was the most appealing part for you? Sorry? Climax, correct? So climax is one. Then the bull race, yes, Kamala, yes or no? So in other words, what I am trying to say is that the way the movie is going to opening, right, the opening part of the movie and also the climax part, it is going to give sort of like, let's say, adrenaline rush in ourselves, because we will be remembering just that moments, not entire movie. In between also, if at all the movie is going here and there, we will be okay with that. We will be adjusting ourselves. But if at all the introduction or else, let's say conclusion in the answer, if at all it is not making that much sense, what will be happening? You will be getting the average marks. Same thing applies for answer writing. That is the way you are going to introduce the question. If at all it is in a unique way and it is captivating the entire meaning, then definitely it is going to be creating interest in the evaluator. Clear? Because just imagine like a person to be in like at least late 50s or else let's say early 50s, he is evaluating your copy and he has to look at like, let's say at least like hundreds of copies, right? So if at all everybody is writing the same thing, won't you be expecting the same marks, same kind of marks? So that is what it is going to happen on the evaluation part, right? So think in that way and prepare in that way when you are preparing itself. Are you getting? So be that smart. So see, people say this hard work and smart work, right? So there is only hard work according to me. Smart work is basically like understanding the process. If you have understood the process, then it is only about hard work. Once you got to know that, okay, this is how the evaluators will be expecting, etc., then only one way is there, that is hard work. Do that sort of like extra work and create that sort of edge over others. Clear? So this is like sort of transition you can give. After that, we can go for the main demand of the question, that is body. That is, what is the main demand of the question? Impact of, see, make the headings also on natural resources. And when you are making this heading, at least put this sort of box, or else do underline, put apostrophes, make sure that it is visible to the evaluator. Are you getting? And another very important part of like answer writing is that when you are going to write the answer, whatever the subparts of the question is there, that should be reflected as headings in your answer. Because at least I should be knowing that by looking at your paper, I should be getting the idea that, okay, every part is addressed or not. Clear? So this is one. So impact of natural resource, climate change and natural resources. Now how can we write this? Again, it is very simplistic, because we know like natural resources, correct? As we discussed, one is renewable, non-renewable, correct? Either in this way you can discuss, or else, let's say for example, take the biggest natural resources which is available. Let's say impact of climate change on water. Water is also a natural resource, yes or no? Correct? So what can you say here? Water stress is fine. Basically you can start again, as I said in the beginning, order of the presentation, that is very important, because here for the first impact we can give is disruption in what? Not monsoon, it is in hydrological cycle. So that would be the broader one, right? Yes or no? Hydrological cycle. Because this pattern is disrupted, then only we are going to see the disruptions in monsoon, correct? So start from here, clear? Start from here, and then you can say like increased incidence of floods or else droughts, right? So in this way you are going to do the justice, correct? So this is for water. So similarly we can take other resources. For example, impact of climate change on forest, we can take, correct? Impact of climate change on, let's say, air, correct? We can take that. Then impact of this on soil, again you can take that, yes or no? For example, solar rays, solar energy, that also you can take, right? Here solar energy we can relate it to greenhouse effect, correct? Are you getting? See, I am not going in detail with the content here. I am just trying to give you the idea, the important points which I feel which can add value to you, that I am anyway going to dictate to you, right? So, but this is the like basic idea you should be having. Clear? Right? So, let's say for example, 3 pages were there. And let's say for example introduction, that data or as fact which we have presented, so that may take up to here, correct? Then let's say that transition which I had given, so that much, this might be the space it will be taking. After that we went for impact. So each one, let's say under water, if I am writing like 3 points, right? So somewhere around here I may complete it, correct? All the impacts, correct? But still this much space is there. So usually people will have this dilemma, as I said in the beginning also while explaining these keywords, it is, in this case it is 85:15, yes or no? Because 85% of the paper, it is covered with the core arguments which the question is demanding. So here utilizing your creative genius, you can fill up this 15% space, correct? What could be the aspects we can put in this 15% space? As somebody was saying, it was challenges, but rather than giving the challenges here, what could be the best one? Way forward, or else let's say for example solutions, correct? Solutions, or else like new technologies for this sustainable natural resource management, correct? Technologies, or else let's say way forward, solutions, or else even if you know like government schemes and policies, correct? So this can be done. Now for you the homework is this, because in the context of the question we have discussed everything apart from this, yes or no? Now what you can do is that go back to your rooms or else homes and do this part, like what is that? Sustainable natural resources, government schemes and policies, sustainable natural resources, challenges, correct? Sustainable natural resources, your own solutions. In this way you have to make your other part of the notes. Are you getting? If you make that like this part, don't you think like any question on this climate change and natural resources can be tackled? Yes? Yes or no? As I am the only one feeling confident here. Yes or no? Right? See, in a way, I can like I can guarantee you that by the time we are going to finish up this entire program, at least we would have covered more than like 100 PYQs plus that 4 mark test, like more than 200 questions. In other words, we will be completing more than 70 to 80% of the syllabus itself. Right? In a way, it is going to be a crash course only for you. Yes? Because I am also focusing on like conceptual clarity, giving you like hints for like answer writing, and also I am going to dictate like few of the important things. Even if you are going to maintain only this part as your notes also, don't you think like at least it will be doing justice for your answer writing? Yes or no? Right? So that is the main intention. Now I will just dictate you like few of the things which might be adding, like up to here it is clear, right? The question is clear. The introduction, body, transition, and also the conclusion. Clear? Learn something? Yes or no? Right? So keep these things in mind, because see, for every question again it is going to be different. The way you are going to put the voice or else the tone of the answer, it has to vary. Clear? Now, see, first thing like introductions, two sort of like data which I said I am going to say, so you can take down that. So first one, government of India's national communications, Government of India's national communications, Government of India's national communications in bracket NATCOM, 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 national communications. NATCOMs has indicated that more than 50% of India's forests, more than 50% of India's forests, more than 50% of India's forests are likely to experience shift in forest types, likely to experience shift in forest types, comma, shift in forest types, comma, adversely impacting associated biodiversity, adversely impacting associated biodiversity, and regional climate dynamics, and regional climate dynamics. Second way of introduction, it is estimated that because of climate change, with even 1 degree Celsius rise in temperature, results in reduction of wheat production by 4 to 5 million tons. Next, impact of climate change on natural resources. Okay, I forgot about this sustainable management itself. See, we have that freedom. If I am like forgetting something, you can remind me, right? I am not going to like punish you for that. See, the second part of the question was on sustainable management, right? So that I didn't explain. I just explained the impact and I concluded it, right? So you could have reminded me. I forgot that, right? So that I am going to explain, but just take down this impacts. So when
we are not writing about the climate change, like can we write sustainable management of natural resources?
In the beginning. If you are not writing. So if you are not writing, I think in this answer for this question, I believe like starting with either natural resources or else climate change. So that would be better, because second part is about like management. So for management, there should be a problem. So start with that problem, right? If you don't have the data, so that is what you can do. Right. Okay. So climate change impact on water resources. Impact. So under that climate change impact on water resources. First point, erratic monsoons, ERRATIC. Erratic monsoons, increased incidence of El Nino, and breaks in monsoon, See, most of you are from like old OGP batches, right? Anyone from 2024 batch? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Because this monsoon as a concept or else El Nino as a concept, it will be explained in geography, right? Okay. Breaks in monsoon has reduced availability of water. For both domestic consumption and irrigation. Next point, increase in occurrence of floods and droughts. Example. So this is how we can utilize the current affair in the example I am going to say. Climate change. Example, climate change coupled with phenomenons like climate change coupled with phenomenons like western disturbances causing untimely heavy rains in northern India and increased incidence of droughts in states like Rajasthan. Got the idea, right? Now it is happening, right? The floods which is happening in the northern India, it is mainly because of climate change plus western disturbances plus monsoon, of course. The monsoon which is there, that is also intensified. So coupling with all these phenomena, we have this flood, correct? So this is how we can incorporate in this. So next one, climate change impact on forest resources. First point, increase in carbon dioxide concentration in atmosphere. Increase in carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere is threatening the forest ecosystem of Himalayan region, full stop. Next point, increase in temperature increase in temperature is leading to forest fire incidents. Example, forest fire in Uttarakhand and Bandipur National Park has led to loss of valuable biodiversity. Next, climate change impact on air, air. On air, first one, changes in seasonal patterns is leading to ozone depletion, particulate matter pollution, etc. Next point, increase in temperature is known to transport pollutants to upper atmosphere. Next, climate change impact on other natural resources. In this first point, increased carbon dioxide concentration in ocean leads to, what is the phenomenon? Leads to ocean acidification, which in turn results in what? Sorry, Sharath, you were saying something. Correct. In that particular one species is impacting more. What is coral bleaching, right? Which results in coral bleaching. Coral bleaching. Full stop. Next point. Climate change reduces biodiversity. Which further reduces ecological services, like pollination. Next point, increase incidence of new pest and diseases for both humans and plants. Full stop. See, another important thing is that in this sort of questions, actually when you read the question, you will be compelled to attend the question because you feel like it is an easy question. It is a generalistic question, so if I attend, I can easily write the answer. But the trick is, as simple as it appears, for writing it will be tough, because to frame the answer, to orderly present the points, that is the challenge here, right? So it may sound like the points which I have given, it may also sound like it is known to me, but presenting it in an orderly fashion in the given time. So that is the challenge. Clear? Now, as I said, like management, sustainable natural resource management, right? Here, see, again, I am going to give you like two types of approaches which you can follow in the answer. One is like stakeholder approach. That is okay. Let's say when I speak about sustainable natural resource management, who are the stakeholders present here? First one, can I say mass media? Right? Does mass media has any role in sustainable natural resource management? No? Yes or no? What happened? Already exhausted. Say something. Yes or no? Yes, because they are the ones who will be acting as extinction here. Yes or no? So giving awareness to the people, what are the new technologies, etc., that has to be disseminated. So mass media plays important role. Now let's say this thing, management agencies, like for example maybe government, correct? Government. Let's say public organizations like SSGs are there, NGOs, correct? Individual research organizations, for example MS Swaminathan Research Organization Foundation, that is there, correct? So those are the ones. Now let's say what are the other stakeholders here? For example, corporate companies, as private sector also you can say, no problem, correct? Corporate companies or else private sector. Then what else is there? Let's say international organizations, correct? Does this make sense to you? Yes or no? Now for this, see, the main problem is that you may write this in the like examination, but the problem is you will leave it here only. The main problem is that you won't, I mean the main thing you have to do is that you have to give title to it, like figure number 1 or else like flow chart number 1, like flow chart showing major stakeholders in sustainable natural resource management. At least this much you have to do, right? This much title you have to do, and of course like taking each individual stakeholder here, definitely you can generate the points. Yes or no? Yes. So this is one approach. Another approach is that like generalizing few points into like 5 or 6 strategies. You can say like for example this thing, one, like increasing the efficiency. If I increase the efficiency of anything, like could be labor, could be of any natural resource, that will be reducing the quantity I need, correct? We can like focus on the technologies here which will be reducing the burden, or else it will be increasing the efficiency, right? That is one. Next one, let's say finding alternatives. Alternatives, for example, let's say traditional method of rice cultivation can be substituted with SRI, DSR. Here are we not reducing this water requirement, right? But still the efficiency is also increased. So this is what alternative, correct? And also let's say for example, instead of LPG, we can go for biogas. Yes? Yes or no? Right? Biogas. Okay. See, for example, in biogas, again like common sense question I would have asked in GS also. Which is the major component of biogas? Sorry? Methane, correct? CH4. And methane we know it is a greenhouse gas. If at all it is a greenhouse gas and also it is a major component of biogas, and also I am saying instead of LPG we can go for biogas. Does it make any sense? Or else is there a logic why we are preferring biogas over LPG? Why? Or else let me put it in a simpler way. How biogas is more greener when compared to LPG? Okay, then correct. See, main thing is that here what is happening, let's say for example, wetland is there, like puddling is done, right? Now what is happening, because of anaerobic condition, methane is emitted into the atmosphere. Now what I am doing is that whatever the decomposed material is there, the methane is produced, so that methane will be collected, stored in a place, and what I am doing, I am burning it out at the ground level itself. Now I am reducing that much quantity of methane, it is emitting to the atmosphere. Once methane goes to atmosphere, then only it is a greenhouse gas. If I am burning at the ground level itself, then it is a good source only for me. Correct? When it comes to the calorific value, it is almost same. Are you getting? So that's why biogas. So this one of the alternatives you can say. Let's say for example, finding substitutions. Can you give an example for substitution of one natural resource to another? Sorry, ethanol to. Okay, ethanol also I can say biofuel to fossil fuel, correct? I mean sorry, it is other way around. Fossil fuel to biofuel. So this can be done, yes or no? It can substitute, correct? So this is one. Next, can speak of government initiatives. For example, Govardhan, so that is increasing this biogas production. Then ethanol blending program, that is also increasing this ethanol production. Let's say for example, integrated farming system, is that not like reducing the natural resource consumption? Definitely it is, right? So in this way you can give the other way of presentation. Are you getting? Basically two methods are there, whichever is feasible for you, and try to write both the things in your answers, I mean in the notes, but whatever it is coming to your mind in the examination hall, you can write it accordingly. Are you getting? After this, as we discussed earlier, you can go for conclusion, right? Clear? Up to here it is clear, right? Are you learning? Are you enjoying? Mostly that is the important part for me, right? Yes, you are learning, right? You are enjoying also. Everybody sleeping, hungry. Okay, then we will go for second question. Right, this is clear? Yes. Okay, so second question is greenhouse gas, right? Okay. What is greenhouse effect? Explain in detail various greenhouse gases and their impact on crop production. So this is for 20 marks, correct? So that is 4 pages. See, but in 2022, I told you again in the orientation also it was 3 pages. So 3 to 4 you can say. Now again take 2 minutes and try to give the structure. It should be given equal importance. So 3 pages were there. So 1.5, 1.5. See, the content which I gave, it is like for your benefit only. Like if you have the content, then you can condense. If at all it is for 20 marks, you can elaborate. If at all it is 10 marks, you can reduce it. So that's why I given extra content, right? You know, take 2 minutes and try to give this structure. Last 30 seconds. Okay, time up. See, are you able to like construct the like structure for the answer, right? But at the same time, just imagine like this: if you had taken the printout and if you have already written the answer, anything like, for example, it need not be like idealistic answer, etc., etc. But at least if you had done that, brainstorming would have been done. And if you sit in the classes, what will be the advantage? Will be double time like reading that, first thing. Second thing is that your writing skills will become pakka. So that is the main intention here. Are you getting? See, for example, if you like go to online or else anywhere for that matter, you can get the content. But if you are not knowing how to present it, so that would be the problem. So that is the main focus here. So that's why do that activity and come to the class so that it will be extra beneficial for you. And let's say, for example, if you're starting from the scratch, I don't know at all and I am starting from the scratch, so then you can come to the class, you can learn in the class. But at least I believe that most of you have the basic idea, right? So at least try to do something like that and then come to the class, right? Now, can anyone say the structure for this answer? Structure, sorry, recent context of, okay. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Hmm. Okay, yeah, okay, okay. Anything else others want to add to this? Okay, fine, good, good. Then, okay. Basically, you are saying source, correct? Right, good. Then, that's it? Yes, so correct. See, most of you are on the right lines, right? So now I will say, so one of the biggest thing you have to learn is that in the answer writing, when the question is about what, or else define, describe, and it is about a concept, then in 99.99% of the cases, inevitably you have to go for definition. So that is the best way to start the answer. Since the question itself is asking what is greenhouse effect, so that report and all you can bring it in the second part. So introduction, it has to be with the definition, right? So here the definition or the concept itself is the king. Clear? So first establish this, and again this is the 20 marks question. So considering like this is 4 pages, so you can divide your space and time. See, as soon as you see the question and the number of marks, so immediately what should be coming to your brain is that, okay, how many pages are there? What is the time I can have for this? And like points, the priority of the points, it should be coming to your brain. Clear? Right. Now, what is greenhouse gas effect? Explain in detail various greenhouse gases and their impact on crop production. Okay. So this is one way, or else let's say for example, almost same only. We can start with definition, correct? Okay, what is greenhouse gas, or else what is greenhouse effect? Warming of the earth's surface. Okay, then that's it. Okay, how does this warming of earth effect happen? Same thing as like climate change. Is greenhouse gas effect good or bad? Both. How? How? At least you are coming to that level, that is good. So in the interview also, if at all they are going to ask like this sort of question, you can take this time. It is good at sometimes, it is bad at sometimes, correct? How this is good? Achha, in context of agriculture you are saying, right? Greenhouse gases, fine, apart from that. Good. So that is a very important point. If at all without greenhouse gases, the average earth temperature would be minus 19 degrees Celsius. So this is what IPCC has said, right? So minus 19 degree would be the temperature of the earth. If at all that is the case, obviously we cannot survive, right? So greenhouse gas is good. Sorry, greenhouse effect is good. But because, as I said in the climate change also, it is the pace, the acceleration. So that is the problem here, correct? So what is the meaning of greenhouse gas or its greenhouse effect then? How it is happening? Okay, why that is happening or else how that is happening? What you are saying is correct. Okay. Presence of greenhouse gases. Okay, see for example in definition obviously you can say it is a heat trapping phenomena which is happening because of certain gases, greenhouse or certain gases present in the atmosphere, correct? Because of this heat trapping or else the gases which turn or else the gases which cause this effect is called as greenhouse gases and the phenomenon is called as greenhouse effect. In that way you can begin. After that definitely you can put a diagram, right? And again like diagram need not be like let's say like as if it is in the textbook, but it should be conveying the meaning, correct? It should be conveying the meaning and it should be legible. Clear? These two things are important. Keep that in mind. Were you observing this diagram, everyone? So what was I writing? Basically I was writing for carbon sequestration, so I should have reminded. Okay. See basically for this thing greenhouse gas it is very simple. So let's say this is earth, okay, this is atmosphere, right? Here and there greenhouse gases will be there. So somewhere here the sun will be there, correct? Now sun emits both visible light, correct? Long wave radiation, short wave radiation, so everything will be coming here, correct? Now so atmosphere means there we have clouds, we have gases, etc., correct? Now as soon as like the radiation hits the earth, so certain part of the radiation is absorbed by the earth and certain will be reflected. In fact, like rather than the straight diagrams, actually you have to write this in the waveform because we know it travels in photons and photons will be vibrating, correct? So try to be as accurate as possible, correct? Now so it will be hitting here, so then it will be rebounding back. So certain like radiation because of clouds or else gases, it will be coming back to the earth or else it will be trapped in the atmosphere itself. This phenomenon of trapping of temperature within this atmosphere, it is called as greenhouse effect. clear? Greenhouse effect, clear? So here also like figure 1 or diagram 1 showing greenhouse gas effect. So that is what you can give. So after this, so next important part is this various greenhouse gases, right? So even before going to various greenhouse gases, what you can do is that if we have the reports of greenhouse effect phenomena, how much it is happening. See, for example, when you compare to this industrial revolution to this current this era, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, it is more than 50 times, else 50 times it is more. So that is 420 or 440 ppm is what the current carbon dioxide concentration which is present in the atmosphere. So it is 50 times more than that of industrial, yeah. So pre-industrial revolution when compared, so this is what it is there. So you can mention this as, like if you remember I told you before going to the body it is transition, correct? See, in essays also this is important. While you are writing essay, what happens is that you write one heading, you write something, and suddenly you write some other heading and you will go for some other dimension. So in between that there is a sudden jump, right? So it won't be like smooth journey for a reader. So a reader would be adjusted for whatever the arguments it would be there in one dimension. Suddenly if you are moving without this transition, so there will be abrupt change, right? Here also it will be happening the same. So to avoid that, definition after the transition, there you can give this report and all. After that you can take this various greenhouse gases, right? So like those people who are in this Telegram channel, so already I posted this like the concentration chart, pie charts and all, if you have observed. So that you can use here also, clear? So now, so what are the various greenhouse gases we have? Okay, water vapor, carbon dioxide, then okay, methane, then O3, ozone, correct, CFCs, HFCs, then that's it, major one, nitrous oxides, correct? So these are the major greenhouse gases. Now, see the important point here is that, so this is for 20 marks, so 4 pages would be there, and considering this is a 2022 question, right? So this is 2021 question, okay, so this is a 2021 question, so 4 pages would be there. If at all it was 2022, 3 pages were there. Now what you can do is that choose one type of greenhouse gas, correct? I will say the structure, say for example CO2, put heading as like major greenhouse gases, and then impact on, wait, okay, heading could be like major greenhouse gases impact on crop production, right? So make this sort of heading, right? Then take one this thing greenhouse gas, let's say CO2, right? Carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide, okay, so you can put this fact that is okay, so 25% of greenhouse gas or else greenhouse effect which is happening, it is mainly because of CO2. Again, this is the data from IPCC only, right? You can put this. So that 25% of the total greenhouse gases which is present in the atmosphere, it is mainly CO2. This is one. After that, like you can put another heading as sources. Again in sources we can have 2 headings, that is natural sources and anthropogenic sources, correct? Okay, what are the natural sources of CO2? Sorry? Okay, good. Respiration, then volcanic eruptions, correct? So these are the major ones. For anthropogenic, which are the major sources? Fossil fuel burning, correct? Then that's it. Carbon fertilization, actually it is like utilization of the carbon. So it is a later onwards part. So here we are discussing about the sources, right? So in like impacts you can use that point, carbon fertilization, definitely, right? Okay, this thing fossil fuel, then like agriculture as a whole you can say, correct? Then vehicular exhaust, industries, etc., manufacturing industries, etc., etc. So this is what sources, correct? Now another important point is impact, correct? Impact on crop production. So what is the main impact of crop production on agriculture? Sorry, what is the impact of CO2 on crop production? Yes, is it good or bad? Again, if at all the concentration of CO2 it is going to increase in the atmosphere, is it good for agriculture or else it is bad? For C4 it is good. Okay, for C3 it is bad. Correct, correct. Okay, okay. So basically you are saying like C4 plants will get advantage, correct? Okay. How C4 will be benefited? Increase in photosynthesis, how that is going to happen? Okay, what is C4 actually? What is C4? C stands for carbon, so 4 is the number, correct? That is 4 molecule of carbon, that are like molecule which will be produced, so it will have 4 carbon atoms, correct? Now, in other words, the basic understanding is that, let's say for example, 100 atoms of this carbon is present in the atmosphere. Now C4 utilizes 4 molecules or else 4 atoms of this carbon to produce or else to do this photosynthesis, whereas C3 it will be taking only 3 molecules. Because there is increase in carbon dioxide concentration, now will be advantageous, C4 will be advantageous, yes or no? Because 4 molecules, like concentration is more, so that is what carbon fertilization, we are going to utilize more, right? So in context of climate change adaptation also, C4 will be benefited here, because it will be taking more of carbon dioxide, it will be converting into usable material, that is photosynthesis. Are you getting? Yes. See, for example, let me put it in a easier way. Millets are example of C3 or C4. You know millets, right? Sorghum, ragi, bajra, correct? Millets are example of C3 or C4. What happened to you guys? It is, they are C4 plants, yes or no? See, it is one of the main reason why millets are being promoted in the context of climate change, because it is C4 plant, it can adapt to the climate very well, clear? Whereas rice, wheat, they are C3 plants, so definitely there is going to be a cropping pattern change across the globe. Are you getting? Yes? Okay. So C4 plants, like as everyone is saying, like increase in yield would be there, that is true, but in long run, because of stress, like abiotic stress, there will be reduction in yield. Are you getting? Right? So this is the point you are going to make. So in the short run, of course, C4 plants or certain plants can get benefit because of increased photosynthesis, but in the long term, because of increase in abiotic stress, that is drought, floods, temperature, right, humidity, because of all these things there will be reduction in the yield. So this is the argument you can make. Then what are the other things from CO2? Impact on crop production, that's it, only photosynthesis. Then respiration, yes or no? Right, if at all respiration increases, what will happen? Or else, let's say for example, photosynthesis is increasing, so what will happen to respiration? It will also increase, because if I am manufacturing more, I have to do like energy also should be released. If at all respiration is happening, so evapotranspiration, it will increase, yes or no? In other words, water demand of the plant, it will be increasing. Are you getting? So this is the, see, I am not giving you exact content, but I am pushing you to think in the certain sort of way. If your brain is tuned in thinking in, okay, for example, okay, photosynthesis is happening, that is to say respiration should also happen. If at all respiration is happening, then water demand will be more. In this way, just keep one thing in the brain and try to derive the points. So that is the best way. If not, you will end up by-hearting the things. So none of this should be by-hearted. Clear? So this, as I said, it is an example for CO2. Then let's say for example, we will take this methane. Let's take example of methane. Okay, sources, or else let's say for example, okay, let's say sources. What are the major sources of methane? Natural and anthropogenic. Natural, Wetland, correct. Animal husbandry, that is also correct. Cattle rearing, right. So cattle rearing, actually it comes to this human part only, right, because we are doing that, yes or no, right. So then anthropogenic methane, that is agriculture as a major, correct. Then we can say livestock. Then where all this methane is emitted, that's it. From this, what is that? Thermal power plants, do you have this methane? Yes. So in this way you can find out, right. So the sources, then impact, what are the major impact of methane on crop production? Anything at all? No? Methane? Sorry? Yeah, correct only, say. Sorry, I didn't get. That is correct. See, it is more potential, that is fine. But for the crop production, what will happen if at all methane is increasing? See, basic thing, again, like just apply the common sense. See, in greenhouse gas, temperature will increase. See, I am just telling you like how to think, because I won't buy it and come to the class. It all comes in the like linkage only. See, if at all temperature is increasing, will the stomata open or else it will close? If at all the temperature is increasing, so to conserve the energy, to conserve the water, will stomata be opening or else it will be closing? It will be closing. If at all stomata is closing, so what will happen? Will this photosynthesis increases or else reduces? It will reduces, correct? So this is one of the impact you can draw from methane. Are you getting? So see, I am telling you about like thinking only, because content you can get anytime, but if your like brain is not working in a particular way, believe me, it is going to be tough, correct? This is for methane. For example, let's say nitrous oxide. So again, this is like 300 times more potent greenhouse gas than CO2. And write this thing. So most of the people, what they will do is that they will say that it is 300 times more potent, but compared to what? That is important. So 300 times means it is compared to something, right? So complete the statement, that is with respect to CO2. Clear? So what is the impact of, like, okay, sources obviously we can write, right? Yes, it is quite popular, NOx. So okay, what is like impact? What is the impact? Okay, acid rain is fine, but how that is going to impact on agriculture or crop production? So basic, yeah, good. Scorching, in other words, we can also say as chlorosis, yes or no? Because of chlorosis, yellowing will happen. So yellowing means there is no photosynthesis, correct? So this is one point we can derive. For example, nitrogen is major component of, what is in like nitrogen is major components of which are the things? Fine. Apart from that, within the plant, good. Protein, yes or no? So for protein, again it is the building block is amino acid. There also we need, for example, this DNA, RNA. There also we have nitrogen, yes or no? So all these things will be impacted, correct? See, just keep one thing in brain, derive the content. Clear? So this is for nitrous oxide. So similarly you can do for other things. But for the conclusion, how are you going to do that? And also, let's say, for example, practically speaking also, for few things, like let's say this thing O3, that is, what is that? Ozone. For all these things, even if you write this impact and all, so hardly you may find like 3 or 4 points. By considering this is a 4-page answer, so somewhere around like half page will be left out, correct? The last 3 pages you may like write the impact, but half page will be left out, right? So there, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What could be done? Forget about the impacts, like something else, other dimension can be brought to the answer. Yes, what is the dimension we can bring? What is the dimension we can bring? Good. Measures, correct? So again, this measures, see, the important point I want to highlight here is that there are 2 types of measures we can say, especially remember these 2 words, especially in context of climate change, any of these climatic phenomena. One is mitigating measures Adapting methods. See, mitigating is very simple. For example, something is happening, you want to like negate it, you are going against it, correct? You are trying to give, let's say fever is there, you are giving medicine to that, so that is basically mitigating. So what is this adapting? Of course fever is there, you cannot take the medicine, but what is the best thing you can do? Take water soaked in cold water and just brush all over your body, so that is one. Are you getting? So this is the difference. So for example, mitigating, you can say changes in cropping pattern, right? We are changing something, correct? For example, adapting, here we can say that let's say this thing micro irrigation, correct? So this is the sort of like differentiation you have to make in the answers. Clear? See, practically speaking, of course if you do this extra research and all, you may find another like 5 or 6 points for this impacts, but that is hardly going to make any impact. Are you getting? Because the entire question itself is an impact, but the evaluator will also be exhausted. How much can we read just on the impacts? So he will be expecting something new, and if you are going to do this and in this way, definitely it is going to be value addition for your answer. Clear? Yes? Right. So yeah, this is this second question. Clear? Yes? Okay. Okay, I will just give you this impacts then. Just a few of the impacts I will dictate, and then we will take another question. See, conclusion, as I said, like in this measures only the conclusion would be there, right? That is one way. Another way is that, see, you can give this, let's say, government measures. For example, if you have heard about this NICRA, NICRA, have you heard? It is for resilience is correct. That is National Initiative for Climate Resilient Agriculture. NICRA. It is initiated by ICAR itself. Yeah. So it is an initiative for climate resilient agriculture. So in the conclusion, you can say that the initiatives like NICRA, it can help in developing the farmers' ability to adapt and mitigate the climate change phenomena. In that way, definitely can conclude. Clear? Okay. Just take down this major greenhouse gases and impacts on crop production. Major greenhouse gases and impact on crop production. Within that, first one, CO2, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. Just put an hyphen and write, it is responsible for 20% of thermal absorption. It is responsible for 20% of thermal absorption. Thermal absorption in bracket IPCC. In bracket IPCC. Let's say, for example, I will just I will give you one of the hint I can say. See, for example, you know, like some data relevant to, let's say, climate change itself. You know that for sure it is somewhere around it is correct, but you don't know exact source of it. Then better way is putting an IPCC, right? And let's say, for example, it is about like some certain crop yield, right? You would have said like because of this climate change, this much reduction in the crop yield is happening. So that you would have written. And again, there the better way of putting is ICR is one. Let's say, for example, if at all it is like millet, or else let's say, for example, it is a this thing dryland agriculture thing, then ICRISAT. So in this way, you just think like that. Are you getting? But don't make the blunder saying that the 50% reduction will happen, 60% reduction will happen. That itself is challengeable. Are you getting? So somewhere around safely, if you are putting 20%, 30%, hardly it will make any difference. Are you getting? Be safe and put it on the institutions. Are you getting? But putting that is very important. That data is also important, that institution name is also important. Are you getting? Right. Okay, CO2. Next is sources. So sources anyway you can write. So next point, 24% of direct CO2 emission. 24% of direct CO2 emission. 24% of direct CO2 emission comes from agriculture, forestry, and other land use. and other land use. And other land use. Full stop. Again, this is also from IPCC only. I have taken all this from IPCC reports only. Right. Next, impact on crop production. Impact on crop production. First point, the production of C4 plants. The production of C4 plants will increase. The production of C4 plants will increase. Will increase, comma, which leads to change in global cropping pattern. Which leads to change in global cropping pattern. Global cropping pattern. Full stop. Next point. It lowers LOWERS. It lowers tissue concentration of tissue, TISSUE. It lowers tissue concentration of okay, see, for that natural resource management, I had drawn the diagrams, right? I hope everybody has taken that, right? So that itself could be the answer. I was just looking at the online comments, so that was the question, so I am trying to address it. Okay, lowers the tissue concentration of nitrogen and protein. Nitrogen and protein. Next point. Lowers LOWERS. Lowers water use efficiency of plant. Lowers water use efficiency of plants and increases transpiration. Full stop. Next one, methane. Hyphen. It is main component of natural gas. It is main component of natural gas. Full stop. It is main component of natural gas. Full stop. Methane is 30 times 30. Methane is 30 times more potent. 30 times more potent greenhouse gas. More potent greenhouse gas than CO2. Impacts. It is mainly indirect impacts. Within that, first one, methane leads to increase in surface ozone. Methane leads to increase in surface ozone, comma, which increases chlorosis of leaves, which further reduces photosynthesis, and finally yield. Why a yield? Next one, nitrous oxides. N2O is 300 times more potent. N2O is 300 times more potent greenhouse gas than CO2. Impacts. It mainly impacts RNA and DNA synthesis. RNA and DNA synthesis. It impacts functioning of chlorophyll, which further reduces photosynthesis. Full stop. Next, ozone. Within this hyphen, stratospheric ozone is naturally formed. Stratospheric ozone is naturally formed by chemical reactions involving UV radiation, ultraviolet, UV radiation and oxygen. Full stop. Tropospheric ozone is bad for both humans and plants. Impacts: increase in O3, lead to close of stomata. Next point, it slows down photosynthesis. Next point, it provokes PROVOKE. It provokes strong oxidative stress in plants, which damages plant cells. Full stop. That's it. Right, we'll take another question for today. Okay, so third question. So this is clear, right? Second question is clear? Yes. Explain, because this is also related to climate change, so that we will complete this climate change. So in next class we can take other topics. Explain impacts of climate change on Indian agriculture and government schemes for adaptation to climate change. So this is for how many marks? 15 or 20? 3 pages. So take 2 minutes and give me the structure of the answer. question. Last 30 seconds. Does anyone has to travel long distance after the class? Anyone has to travel long distance? No, right? Everybody here is in this locality only. Okay, time up. Done. See, this is like type of question where it appears to be very easy, right? Because impact on like Indian agriculture, obviously it is very big one. So immediate idea which will be coming to our brain is that of course monsoon will be impacted, like crop production that will be hampered, etc. Maximum 3-4 points will be coming. So we'll be compelled to write the answer. And let's imagine if at all it is in like question 105. So obviously you have to write the answer, right? But the problem is like you may have the content. Let's say for example, even if you just Google down, you may get the content. Here the presentation is important because everybody is going to present the same content. Then how you are going to like present it in a unique way? So that is the challenge here, right? Can anyone give the like structure for the answer? Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Hmm. 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 Okay. Okay. Good, good, good. Your name? Sandeep, right? Okay, fine. Then anyone else? No one? Structure is fine. Yes, Sharath. Same. Okay. So anyone like do this value addition to the whatever the structure he has said? Data. Fine. See, because it is quite simple in the question itself, right? It is basically having two parts. So that is end of the day, whatever the like we are going to drag it, it is coming to those two parts only, right? The way we are going to present, that is what it is going to create difference, correct? Now, let's say for example, as she said, like we can start with this report and all, that is correct. But let's say even if we don't have this new knowledge of report and all, with the existing knowledge only, can we make the like introduction here? Say I can say you, because I can say one of the way, because most of you know that around 60% of Indian agriculture is rain-fed, correct? That is one of the point we can keep. You can say like this: 60% of net cultivated area in India is rain-fed, correct? Because of climate change, the increase in biotic and abiotic stress has created reduction in the yield. So won't that be like explaining about impact of climate change on Indian agriculture, correct? For example, so here your current affairs will come that let's say tea mosquito bug infestation. Have you heard? I also posted that in the Telegram channel, right? So tea mosquito bug infestation in mainly in plantation crops like cashew, then tea, correct? So there the reduction of 30% yield has been reported in 2023 in the regions of, you can write like West Bengal, the Darjeeling Hills, and also in the southern India regions, correct? That is one example. Second, again recently I had posted in the Telegram. So that is, what is the example? Tomato leaf curl virus, yes or no? Because of tomato leaf curl virus, the production itself is reduced by 50%, especially in the southern states. And also you can quote this inflation also happening. So because of this, this is also happening. Are you getting? Now, is that not related to climate change? It is related to climate change, but at the same time you are also quantifying it. All these things were known to you, yes or no? No new information I am giving you, but still you can put it in the right way. So this is what your brain should be tuning. Are you getting? So you may read somewhere in the newspaper, you may read somewhere in the GS context, but definitely that can be used in answers, right? So that is the way you can create the introduction, that is 60% is rain fed, then climate change leading to biotic and abiotic stress. Examples: tea mosquito bug and tomato leaf curl virus. Are you getting? Right, so in this way you can start the answer. Then it is about impact on, okay, impact. See, for example, for impact, here your like, let's say understanding is important. Okay, can someone say like what are the impacts of climate change on agriculture? Anything? Impact of rainfall, correct? Then water availability, water stress, almost everything is related to water. Land degradation, fine. Then soil salinization, fine. Yield will be affected. Pest descent. So this is the important aspect you should be keeping in mind, that is agriculture doesn't mean only yield, correct? There are so many other factors. Let's say for example crops is important factors of agriculture. Then let's say for example water, soil, fishery, correct? Then what else could be put? Crops, water, soil, fisheries. Then anything else you want to add for the dimension of agriculture? Sorry? Animal husbandry in a fishery or else animal husbandry, fine. Then anything else? Light, okay. Then see, component of this thing, component of agriculture. Okay, at least these 4 dimensions we can have, correct? Sorry? Agriculture based industries. Okay, you can say agro based industries, fine. Right, so now while writing the impacts, what you can do is that, so present this sort of like flow chart, correct? Like name it like figure 1 showing the components of agriculture which will be impacted from climate change. After that, take individual part. If for example crops, how climate change is going to affect? One, as we know, it is going to increase the water demand of the crop. So there is increase in the demand for irrigation, but there is less availability of water, which again results in reduction in the yield. It increases evapotranspiration of the plant, correct? So that is how we can you can start here. And also if you want, you can say increased carbon dioxide might increase the yield of few crops. There will be changes in the cropping pattern. All those things can be said in crops, correct? Water, as I said, first thing, hydrological cycle, monsoons, correct? Availability of water, all those aspects can be brought under water. Soil, land degradation, like soil salinity. How soil salinity could be increased because of climate change? How? Sorry? Oh, okay. Evaporation is one way. Second, intermixing of. Very good. So that is, see, because of glacial melting, what will happen? There will be sea level increase. Sea level increase means what? There will be ingression of water, sea water into the mainland, right? So if at all that is happening, obviously soil salinity will be happening, correct? So that for soil. For fisheries, obviously you can say, like for example, increase in CO2 concentration or else increase in temperature, it will impact breeding of this thing, fishes, correct? And also let's say for example, marine fishing, which we are doing, so that will also be hampered, correct? Agro-based industries, again you can say, especially the small and marginal farmers who are involved in agro-based industries, they will be impacted negatively. Are you getting? See here the points you can write in random way. See, as many were saying, like water point will come, then yield will come, so that haphazardness will be there. But if you put in this way, again that will be better way of representation. Are you getting? So impact is clear. Now can anyone say what are the like schemes or else like policies of government we have? Okay, NMSA, then watershed management, again same thing. See, Sharath, you have content, but thing is like try to put it in an orderly way as we discussed in the beginning. So you can start from 12th 5-year plan. We started NAP CC, correct, which had 8 missions, correct? One of that is, as you said, it is NMSA, correct? Then there was another one specifically for climate change, that is National Mission on Strategic Knowledge on Climate Change. Have you heard? No? Just then revise. It's like by heart those 8 schemes which were there, or else missions were there. National Water Mission was there, correct? National Mission on this thing, Himalayan ecosystem. Then for alternative energies, see, basically these 8 were there. So this is one scheme, correct? As this is one of the main thing. So under this, what you can do is that you can take few of the important one. So under NMSA, there are so many sub missions. Yes or no? In GS also I would have done, if you remember. Right? For example, submission on soil health is there, correct? Don't know? Say something. Right? So, sub health on this thing, soil health is there. And also we have something called as like, not under NMSA, but as such like National Mission on Agriculture Extension Technology. So this is also is there, NMEAT, correct? All these things you can mention in brief. And then like just adjacent to that, in one sentence you can say what is the main purpose of that. Are you getting? So this is about like 8 missions. Then we have this NICRA, as I said, that you can bring. ICAR. What is the full form of NICRA? Just now I said National Initiative for Climate Resilient Agriculture. Correct? So this also you can bring. And also let's say for example we have this yeah, fine. So NLM, National Livelihood Mission or Livestock Mission. Livestock Mission is also there. In National Livestock Mission, what we are focusing on is like breeding of indigenous breeds. So this is also there. National Livestock Mission, where again you can relate to this, let's say employment opportunities as a mitigation measure for climate change. So that also we can bring it. Then, like for example, we have funds. Like in 2015, one of the fund was created, that is National Climate Adaptation Fund itself is there. It is under which organization? See, these are the important ones you should be knowing. It is under NABARD. It is under NABARD. Are you getting? So these are the things we can write under adaptation measures of climate change by the government of India. Clear? Yes. Right. So now I will do one thing. I will just give you like few of the data or a few of the examples. You can write it down. Right. So start with this. 60% of India's net cultivated area. This is clear, right, everyone? 60% of India's net cultivated area is rainfed. And climate change has increased, the biotic and abiotic stress on crops which has resulted in reduction in crop yield, Example, tea mosquito bug infestation in cashew and tea plantation, have reduced the yield by 30%. Full stop. Next point. Incidence of tomato leaf curl virus has resulted in reduction of more than 50% yield in tomato. Right, that impacts of Indian agriculture, this crops impact on Indian agriculture, then within that crop. First point, increase in CO2 leads to increase in photosynthesis. But in long term, due to increase in respiration, there will be reduction in yield. Next point, reduction in agriculture productivity. Hyphen increasing floods, comma droughts, heat waves, etc. Heat waves, etc. Next point, rain-fed agriculture yield will reduce. Rain-fed agriculture yield will reduce. Rain-fed agriculture yield will reduce. Hyphen. Rain-fed agriculture yield will reduce. Hyphen. Increased crop water demand. Increased crop water demand and erratic rainfall. And erratic rainfall. Next point, reduction in agricultural biodiversity. Reduction in agricultural biodiversity because of rainfall, temperature, etc. Because of rainfall, temperature, etc. Okay. Next, water. Water. Increase in irrigation demand. Increase in irrigation demand with increase in irrigation demand with increase in temperature. The increase in temperature and higher evapotranspiration. Increase in evaporation and higher evapotranspiration. Evapotranspiration, full stop. Next point, significant increase in runoff. Significant increase in runoff during monsoon season. Monsoon season. Next, soil. Reduction in quantity. And quality of. Reduction in quantity and quality of organic matter in soil. Reduction in quantity and quality of organic matter in soil. Next point, under increased CO2 levels. Under increased CO2 levels, the CN ratio, carbon is to nitrogen, the CN ratio of crop residue, will be more, which reduces rate of decomposition. Full stop. Next point, increase in sea level. May lead to salt water ingression. INGRESSION. Salt water ingression, which further leads to soil salinity. Full stop. Next, livestock. First one, increase in temperature and CO2. Leads to lignification. Remember, right? Lignin is a part of cell wall. So lignification of cell wall. Which affects fodder quality, which affects fodder, F-O-D-D-E-R, fodder quality, fodder quality. Next point, heat stress on animals, heat stress on animals, heat stress on animals. Next point, in cooler areas, climate change, in cooler areas, climate change leads to spread of pests and diseases. So, okay. So that is it. Like for this question. See, of course, you can find these measures, right? So, say for every question, as I said, like the associated homework, if you do on like daily basis, because the classes will be on 5:30, so you will have the time, right? So whatever the extra things like left out, if you do that in this period only, believe me, by the time this program is going to complete, you would have completed your notes also and also answer writing, right? It may be a little bit intensive, but if you are going to have that willpower, believe me that the optional burden itself is going to reduce. Clear? Yes? Yes, did you learn? What did you learn? What did you learn? Answer writing. So agriculture answer writing is done then. So this is the beauty of this examination, because we cannot never say that yes, I am done with my preparation, because there will always be something for like doing preparation, right? So that's why the thing like let's say for example there are basic things. If you are done that inner feeling will come, thinking that okay, whatever the effort I have put, this is enough for the examination. So get to that feeling, that is the important one. Are you getting? So then you can think of like okay, whatever I have done, this is enough for the examination. Are you getting? So that's why I also told in orientation also, 100% preparation, 100% of this notes making, it is never going to happen. It is a myth, right? Idealism is never going to work. So be realistic in your targets. Clear? Yes? Okay. See, this was the free class, correct? And like people, if at all, like let's say, really genuinely, if they have this financial constraints, so they can contact me. Of course, you have my Telegram ID, I guess. Yes? Yes or no? Already done for the day. So this is my Telegram ID. If at all really, if you have like financial constraints, see, this program has started with my passion, right? Because like for example, if I had started this test series, right, it would have been easy for me. Like I just had to give this question paper, hardly like recorded discussion could have been done. But this is the extra effort I am taking. So only intention is that whatever that misconceptions is there in the market, especially regarding our optional, because when we were preparing, we always like crave for this thing, like let somebody be there who can guide us on this answer writing and all. So nobody was there. So I just don't want you to go through the same pain. So that is the main intention of this, right? And also like for example, like most of the people who are here, for most of the people are already given like discount, right? The main intention is that you should get benefited. If at all really the financial constraint is the problem, just let me know, I will definitely help you with that, right? Apart from that, if you have felt like a genuine thing, like anything, could be good, bad, criticism, anything, so just let me know in the Telegram also, right? Because that will be helpful for me to like progress further. Clear? Will you do that? Yes? And I know most of you will go to your rooms. By the time like 9:30 you will have the dinner, then you will already be tired, you'll go to bed. Even if you won't reply to me, that I know, but at least take out some time and do that, because the person is doing so much just for your welfareism. Clear? And if you believe like if you are giving money, and you yourself just analyze that, what are the effort we are putting and what is the money you are paying, do you yourself think that that is justifiable? So it is up to you, right? But do let me know in your like whatever the feelings of yours is there in the Telegram. Clear? Okay. Thank you all. We'll meet tomorrow.